Hello. Hello.
Alrighty. Should be good-ish. I still haven't hit, like, play on everything, but I've at least, you know, posted to all the different important places that, you know, I'm online. I'm running. Excuse me, throat. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Saturday. Hopefully everyone is doing okay. Hopefully everyone's having a wonderful start or, you know, getting into their weekend. Let's see. So first one off the bat was Furry Cures. They were able to get in first. Good for you. You've been getting onto a pretty good streak with that kind of stuff. And then we got Icy Maw Paws. Oh, look at the little froggy emotes. Urinea, Masonic. And then we have Caffeine Bunny. Great to see you. Hi, welcome. Look at the smelly zebra. Hey, I ain't smelly. This is an entirely different shirt from yesterday. Thank you very much. Entirely different. I still haven't done the cactar thingy-majiggy. I will be real with you. I am sorry for that. Cause technically this happened like yesterday, and yeah, this happened technically yesterday, but what's Mahuzi? But basically, I had this really annoying. Actually, it's now. Actually, looking back on it, I think so. Basically, Wednesday, my Google account reported that there was like a login at like, you know, a location that I was not personally familiar with. It was like saying somewhere in Cairns or something like that when it was at like, you know, 4 in the morning or something like that. Wait, hang on. What did Wild Saber just write? They've officially posted some races for Grimblood, your D&D world on Anvil, but it's not play-worthy yet, but you and the team are discussing starting a GoFundMe at some point to pay for its development and arts and stuff. Hey, good for you! Excellent to hear. I kind of understand all that. Where was my brain? Oh, yes. So, basically, Wednesday, Google accounts reported to me, hey, your account, like, you know, may have got access like in another location, and I was like, great, that's not ideal to what I want happening. So I reset the password on that one and I did it for, like, you know, the GrantZeebs Google account and the other Google account that I have, and made sure that there was, like, you know, an authenticator code assigned to it and all that kind of nonsense. It was still giving me warning of like, oh, you should probably do a security checkup on your Google account, and I'm like, I've already done that. I've already, like, you know, changed my password and pushed out and revoked all my sessions with Google, and it still wants to tell me of, like, oh, this one computer that I don't have access to is still, like, oh, it's not trying to sign in or anything like that, but it was like, oh, when it last tried to sign in, there was, like, some questionable applications. I'm like, okay, great, but I still don't understand how the fuck you expect me to answer it when it's not even my account, or when it's not even my computer and something. They're like, oh, if it isn't, then you should report it. And I'm like, I did report it. You told me to change my password and go through the security checklist. So there's now this infinite loop that is just going to happen in my Google account where it very, very much wants me to just, you know, report to them, hey, this location I didn't sign into, and them going, all right, you should probably change your password. And I'm like, yay, let me change my password. And then they go, right, now that you changed your password, need to do a security checkup. And then I'm like, but I'm already in the process of one.
Furry Cures 1221 paid me to say you're a big smelly cutie. You're cute. Shoot me if you want, but it's the simple truth.
I feel like you want to get shot, like, I don't know, like, if that sounds like a weird thing, but, you know, furries are weird that way. Who knows why you want to get shot? So that happened on Wednesday, and Thursday, you know, the warning was still going off, and I was like, all right, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to check, like, 1 or 2 of my other accounts. So I put my Twitter on a 2FA, and then I had a, oh, actually, no, my Twitter was always on a 2FA, so that's not the one that changed. The one that did change, however, was my Telegram, because the mobile number that was assigned to my Telegram for GrantZeebs, I couldn't find the SIM for it, and I wasn't getting text messages from it anymore on my phone. So, and then there came this panic of I accidentally, I tried updating my 2FA for the account to my work number, temporarily. But what that did is that just simply moved the entire account onto my work number. And I was like, oh shit, someone at work, if they're looking at Telegram, might realize I'm a furry. Not cool. So then I had like a momentary panic as I tried getting a different burner SIM altogether, this time an eSIM, so then that way it's like sitting on my phone rather than sitting on like some weird card somewhere out in the middle of fucking nowhere. Got that sorted out, got a new mobile number to put my Telegram account on. People are going to see Grant as a furry. Yes. So I was able to get that sorted, but random person, you're cute, you're furry, so you have chosen death. Yes. Or I will very quickly just internally combust and die. You'll just like shrink and then fade into nothingness. Implode, that's the word I'm looking for. Implode. Anyway, where's my... So yeah, so I changed my Telegram for GrantZeebs to a entirely different mobile number that I didn't have before, and was like, you know, one I got from eSIM or what, that from like this electronic SIM. In the middle of the night at like 4 a.m. or some shit like that. I know that because that's when I got like a random DM message that I saw when I woke up at like 6:30. But in the middle of the night, someone got into my Telegram account, changed my profile icon, changed my username to some weird Ethereum crap, and I had like 2 different crypto bros was trying to get in contact with me, and they're like, dude, what's up? And I was like, this is not fucking cool. So... And it didn't help that, you know, Telegram's spam bot was like, oh, hey, we've restricted your access in Telegram because, you know, we might have seen the following problems, such as, you know, unsolicited advertisement or spam or, you know, questionable content, like, you know, something really gory or some shit. I don't know what the third line is. Point is, didn't have my Telegram account to myself for a moment, and that scared the fuck out of me. So... revoked all my sessions, got back into my account, updated my username, updated my profile icon, and I put on an application passcode. So then that way it's a proper 2FA thing. So rather than it just being a, do you have the mobile number? Cool, we just sent the mobile number the code. What's the code? It's now a case of, do you have the mobile number? Cool, please enter the code. Cool, please enter the password. So now it's proper 2FA instead of just a 1FA. So there was that, but, and you know, I couldn't go, phew, I'm done, because apparently my Twitter also got grabbed. And the annoying thing is that Twitter was under 2FA, but it wasn't the same mobile number that my Telegram was, like, my new Telegram was on. It was my mobile number that I only use for, like, work and 2FA shit, and that wasn't associated with the Telegram that got the issue, which is like really pissing me off, because it's like, great, I have to deal with my crypto bros from 2 different places, and there is not and the only thing that like links the 2 of them is the fact that it uses the same username. It doesn't use this because Telegram doesn't have a passcode. They do not use the same mobile number. So like I just had this like really annoying, like, you know, yesterday and basically today of, you know, changing my password, updating my 2FA in different areas, because I've, like, if a place allows me to turn on 2FA and it doesn't have to be an SMS 2FA, I'm turning on the 2FA that's, like, for application and such, because McSpuffin, bless them, they've explained to me that SMS 2FA is not as secure as, say, application 2FA, because an application 2FA is, you know, you can't really like sort of break that, because that's using like a special, you need to get like a hash or something like that, and then that associated with time gives you a time code. So it's not connected to the internet in any way, and it's not connected to a telecom in order to get your code. It's a hash based on a time lock. The SMS 2FA, however, is not associated with time. It like sends you a random code into your SMS to the mobile number. Now, that would be nice if there wasn't just a slew of problems of people being able to have their mobile numbers get spoofed so that someone else picks up the 2FA code. So for a moment, and like all this is happening while I just got done with, like, you know, doing a security refresh course at work. Work has us go through a security course. Like, it's either once a year or twice a year, but basically it's just a case of, okay, here are some things you should be aware of when it comes to like internet security and, you know, best practices and such like that. And, you know, reporting of like, oh, if you do get hacked or phished or anything like that, report it. Do not like hide it and such. And it's like, great. Thankfully, the InfoSec guy is like sitting next to me, and I told him, I was like, great, like Twitter and Telegram are grabbed. And they're like, was any of your work shit grabbed? I'm like, no. Was any of your work shit using the same password as those things? No. Is there 2FA on your work things? Yes. Did you open anything on work? No. Excellent. You're not at risk as far as work is concerned. This is going to be fun as fuck. If I get into work on Monday and I'm compromised at work, this is going to be a very embarrassing sort of problem, because the thing is that at that point I am going to need to explain to the InfoSec guy like the full, oh Jesus!
Caffeine Bunner with the 2-month tier 1 sub. Let's get the muscles pumped. Yay, grant the GrantZeebs.
Thank you for the 2 months, Caffeine Bunny. You fucking killed me though. Jesus. Also, I need to remove the moderator message of Grant died, because I think what's happening is that it's getting sent multiple times, because it does the thing of like, oh, it equals 0, it's less than 0, it's less than 0, and then it goes back up to, you know, 100. It's doing it multiple times. So web. Hang on, where's my, there we go, VNyan WebSocket. So I can go into here and then go, nope. There we go. Save and compile. I got rid of the message part thingy-majiggy, so that's that. So yeah, my boy goes wee. Yes, your boy goes wee when he gets like absolutely grabbed by a subscription. I thought that was like something worth keeping after testing and what have you. Didn't expect that to scare me. I actually have, actually, is it running right now? I should probably double check. Yes, it is. I have a thing called HUD FX as well. So I don't know how it shows up on mobile, but there's like a plugin thingy-majiggy where you can use bits to play something on the screen. And not only does it like play it on the stream screen, but it plays it on like the main screen I'm playing on. It goes above, it goes like in front of everything else. It's fantastic. So, any whoosies, I need to move on over to our game, pause the music, and there we are. And then I need to look at this window here. So yeah, sorry for scaring you, Caffeine Bun. Alright, so we got the whole of Novice. I don't know why that's a recommendation for me, because like, I've completed all 3, oh, I got a 4th. So wait, I've only done 3 exercises, and there's a 4th one to accrue enmity from multiple... Okay. I will need to look at that at a different time. The Price of Betrayal, The Last Voyage, The Solace of the Sea, Arrows of Misfortune. What's the Price of Betrayal? Oh, it's that thingy-majiggy over there. And I'm all the way over here. Okay, so I've attuned to that thingy-majiggy. But yeah, we are in, like, these, like, islands or something like that. And, like, we have some pirates up there called the Confederacy. I'm really hoping they're not, like, you know, American South Confederacy, where they're gonna be, like, you know, really racist or anything like that. I'm really hoping for that. I'm really hoping they're not gonna be that. And we're trying to use them to avoid the Empire and cross the channels and... you know, start a rebellious movement in, Doma. Ew, indeed. Ew, racism. If you're racist, you need to leave. Oh, nope, that's my Bomboko. Who's this? Afumi has no patience for seasick pirates. Kami, take me. What kind of pirate cannot suffer the sway of the ocean? A new recruit from far-flung shores. Listen well, I have a task for you. Go first to Okumo below and receive of him medicine for men of the earth. Then to Quickscape Pier and the hapless Domon bemoaning his wretched fate. Quickly now! I do fairly well on the sea, quite frankly. I've traveled quite a bit in, like, my life. I'm approaching 30, and I've, like, gone... I'm trying to think how many times... Like, before I turned 21, I, like, moved, like, a dozen times at least. Because, like, you know, technically I was born in Australia, but then I really quickly moved to the Middle East. Moved again, this time to a different part of the Middle East. And then I was in the Sunshine Coast, so I was in, like, the north part of Queensland. And then we moved to Adelaide. And then we moved back into Queensland. And then from, like, we went from, like, you know, being really close to the city to being really out of the city. And then my family, like, you know, split, and I took one side, and we went up to the Sunshine Coast. And then I did, like, a year or two of uni at the Sunshine Coast, and then I moved down to... and then I moved back into Brisbane so that I was really close to the universities that were there instead. Because everyone that's studying in Queensland studies in Brisbane. Okay, so I only really moved 9 times instead of 12. But rounding up, it's like a dozen times. Coming at the behest of Afumia for medicine, my very best is yours for the taking. How pitiful the lot of this Doman, unable to stomach the sea. A true Confederate could raid a dozen ships while in his cups. Mayhaps this one should return whence he came. It feels weird. Speaking of the Confederacy, it really does.
Furry Cures 1221 thinks you should do 20 squats.
Alrighty then, I gotta go do my 20 squats real quick then. Alright, here we go. Are we ready for squats? I think we're ready for squats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Thank you for the 20 squats, Furry. Here we go. Get your ass on that map and pop a squat. It's the carpet, thank you very much. I'm on a carpet. Avatar trying to sleep on the job for a second. The avatar doesn't know how to track my body when I move from being in front of my desk to standing up. It has a really hard time. I've not heard of any other, like, VTuber yet who isn't in VR, who does, like, you know, full body tracking of this sort. Because most of them are like, oh, we're wearing, like, a full set of VR gear or mocap to do full body tracking. I just want the webcam. And the sleep motion. That's, you know, right here on my chest. God, I'm so tired. Also, why do I have... Oh my god, I have to go so far, don't I? Jump! There we go. Now, there's no mean to take the main road. I know a shortcut. There we are. Meanwhile, the Bomboko is following right behind us. Didn't do a lot of exercise today, I'm gonna be frank with you. I should really try and get my weekends as, like, a means of doing exercise, because, you know, I get home at, like, 5 p.m. I don't want to spend money at a gym, because I just do not have the confidence in myself of, yes, just having the gym membership is going to have me go to the gym. That's not going to happen. I do not have the attire to go to a gym. I do not have the motivation to go into a gym, especially after work. And some people are like, oh, what if you go to the gym during lunch? And I'm like, I already have shit to do. I'm eating and relaxing at lunch. The gym is not a relaxing thing for me just yet. Isn't mocap how they did capture in old games like Mortal Kombat and the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 stuff? Ah, in Mortal Kombat, actually, in Mortal Kombat 1, they actually, they didn't do mocap. They've actually used, people. And who did, they did their poses and such like that. And then they used that as, like, references for all the different sprites and what have you. So, close, but no cigar. You went to the gym a few times. Due to an injury, you couldn't anymore, but they kept calling and harassing you to come back and sign in. Oh god, those are terrible. I've joined like a gym like 3 times. It's been a different gym every time, and a majority of the reason why is because I sign up for a gym, I go maybe a few times tops. Really, the reason I like the gym is for, like, you know, being able to do things such as rowing or jogging and not leaving the gym. That's one of the reasons why I like the gym. I don't go to the gym for the machines and the free weights. The free weights scare the shit out of me, and the machines, a lot of the ones I want to use are usually occupied by someone, or or I have to sit right next to someone, and it's like, oh, I feel like I don't belong here. And, you know, after a few weeks of that, and then, you know, something goes up in my schedule or in my, you know, the flow of life that just puts a spanner in the works. And the gym is always the first one to go away because that's the one I didn't get, you know, set down into solid rock after several months or something. So then I end up not going to that gym for months on end until like nearly a year or 2 passes when I'm like, hang on, I really don't need to spend $15 a week for a gym membership that I'm not using. So I cancel that. And then a few years later, it's like, I'm in a different space. I'm in a different place, and there's an entirely different gym franchise I could join. And either a friend or a family member convinces me to join the gym. Do I need a gym partner? Maybe, but most of the gym partners most people already have a gym partner, and those who don't have a gym partner don't go to the gym with a partner. So there's no, there's none of this, you know, the gym partner poking me in the back and going, hey, we got a gym thingy-majiggy to go to together. They're just gonna be like, he's a grown-ass zebra, he'll know to go to the gym. No, I won't. I hate to break it to you, but I'm probably not going to be the strong-ass zebra you think I am and go to the gym of my own volition. Why not buy some equipment and work out at home? Oh! Funny you should mention that. Masonic. There is a few cheap gym thingy-madiggies that are currently on my throne. Now, you may be wondering, why do you only have these kinds of things on your throne? What if you wanted, like, a Peloton or a set of free weights or something? Gym equipment is expensive. And what's more is you have to maintain it. Fun fact, when you get a treadmill, the actual treadmill band, like the thing you're running on, I know this because my mom owned a treadmill for the longest time. She had it for years and what have you. You're meant to replace that band every 4 to 6 months. You can purchase different strengths as well. So sometimes the band might not need to be changed for like 6 months, and sometimes the band, however, needs to get changed every 4 months. My mom did not like that shit. So she pulled some strings, found out that gym franchises have their own, like, supplier for treadmill bands that last for 4 years. And she was like, right, I'm not gonna spend, you know, just a little bit of money on 6 months. I'm gonna spend a shit ton of money and it lasts me 4 years at least. You miss and you don't miss the gym. You felt so out of place, but you also like the small goals you could hit. Like, the parts of the gym that I like is just having the space for exercise and just the choice of being able to, like, use a lot of the different equipments that were available to me. It's one of those things where, like, I see, like, the good in the gym and what have you, but holy fucking shit, I have, like, tried getting into the gym and tried making the gym a sustainable thing for myself so many times, but at the end of the year or something like that, it's not in my you know, what do you call it? It's not in my not schedule. It's not in my habit. That's it. It's not in my habit to do the gym often enough and to do it even on my lowest days. Because that's that thing. You can do the greatest things you can on the best of your days, but that's not what makes, you know, that's not what changes your life. Your life doesn't change based on how well you perform on your best of days. Your life is dependent on how you perform on the worst of your days. It's absolutely terrible. Ugh. Why does it shift and shutter still? Here, take some of Landlubber's best mate. Medicines? Give them here. They may look down on me for resorting to such measures, but I would ought to render the world stable and motionless once more. You are kind, as is Afumi. You may tell her that I will return to my duties as soon as I am able. Awesome. Cool. Thank you. Hi there, Avalon. Welcome to the stream. You don't perform on your worst days. You just loaf in bed and sleep that day off.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, I wish I could be like that. I wish I can, like, but here's the thing is, that's how I am on my worst of days and on my average days. Because that's the thing, it's like, hello there. Like, I can do the gym on my best of days, and sometimes, like, you know, the reason I've gone to gym is because I felt like it was my best of days. But then there come those moments where, you know, it's not my best of days, it's my worst of days, and I don't go. And then what ends up happening is that on my days that are not my worst of days, but they're also not my best of days, I also don't go on those days. And so what ends up happening is I don't go to the gym, and it just escalates to I haven't gone to the gym in a day, haven't gone to the gym in a week, haven't gone to the gym in a year. And I just, like, wasted my money, like, 3 times doing that. You strike me as a strong and capable individual. I've got a job for you, Westerner, if you are courageous as well. On the beach, far to the west, lies the carcass of a gyuki, feathered with arrows. I would have you go and retrieve those which may still be of use. While you are about it, I should be glad if you were to butcher its tail for meat. Very good meat in Gookie tail, you know? But I did say you would need to be a courageous sort, and I meant it. The beast was young. Do not be surprised if an angry mother mourns its child. Okay, no biggie. We are going to, you know, desecrate, you know, a young whale from the sounds of it, and deal with the magical equivalent of a giant blue whale mother. Oh wait, wrong way. You can because you're chronically depressed. Damn! Some days I keep telling myself, you know, I should probably, like, find a means of being able to go to, like, a GP or something and just get a benchmark of shit done at a reduced cost. Like, go to a GP once and tell them, hey, I would like to have my eyes, my ears, my teeth, my nose, my depression, sorry, my mind, my body. I like to have everything checked up. Give me a benchmark. Because I think they have that in Japan or something, where there's basically a day where a doctor checks your eyes, checks your ears, checks your reflexes, checks your urine, checks your body, all that kind of stuff. I wonder if that's something that happens in Australia. Fun fact, you gained weight and got a tummy. You don't know how that happened, but it's a thing now. For real, that is me as well, Avalon. For real, that is me. I wonder if I should put my... Damn, I wonder if I should put my camera... Because, like, if I'm looking this way, I'm looking towards my I'm looking towards my microphone, but I'm not looking towards the camera. If I look over here, however, I'm not looking at the microphone, but I am looking at, like, the camera, but I feel like I might be at a reduced voice when I do it like this. Is there a difference, like, between how I sound when I'm talking to my left versus how I sound when I talk to my right? Because if there is a difference, maybe I should put my microphone on the left instead of the right. Because normally on the left is, like, the visual. It's crisper when you talk into the mic. Krispy Kremes, Crimbles. The Doman was raised in the mountains of his homeland. The first time he saw the sea was after he fled to his homeland and came to us. He tosses and turns in his sleep, and when he takes to the water, it's not long before he can no longer stand. But he will grow accustomed to this life. He is hardly the first, after all. The captain, too, was once a Doma, though he cast all aside 25... Thank you for the Hyper Himbo Furry Cures, and how dare you steal my shirt, Caffeine. The captain, too, was once a Doma, though he cast all aside 25 years ago when the Imperials took his lands and the lives of his parents and brothers. Perhaps you, too, will renounce your ties and join us someday. I mistook you for a recruit before, but I know your tale now. Tansui unfold all. Think of my offer, Westerner. You may find small joys in the land, but the sea holds salvation. Cool. No, you can't see the booty. I demand a sub if you want to see the cutie.
What is this? Come in and
Hi,
find
Coach.
shirtless shenanigans going on?
Hey, Caffeine stole my shirt. Also, hi, Code. Dun, 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 dun. Hopefully it's going alright. Giving you a shout out real quick. How was Monster Hunter Rise last night? Dun, 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 dun. Alright, and then there's another mission here. Dun, 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 dun. There he is. My goodness, what is with my nose? I really want to like strongly sniffle, like real snort. Just a real like excuse me. You there. You. Have you seen a bumbling clod of an Aura? A new recruit I ordered to patrol the northern edge of Onokoro. He is late in returning. A strange boy he was, quiet and brooding, reluctant to speak up, less spoken to first. Better that than a fool who never holds his tongue, perhaps. Much as I would enjoy dragging him back by the ear, I cannot. Duty compels me to remain. You, on the other hand, have no such obligations. Awesome, so I got like 20 different places to go. I gotta go here, and then I gotta go... there. Zaya snort. Ooh, hang on. Ah! Who the
Jason
fuck did
with the
that?
16-month tier 1 sub. Hello, dude.
Hello. Thank you for the 15-month streak and for subscribing for 16 months long. I greatly appreciate that. I get fucking yeeted when that happens. Just yeet. No, Furry Cures, that was not your sub. That's not how the booty works. That's not how the booty works. Jason's not asking to see my booty. He don't get to see the booty. Also, hi, Jason. All right, so here. I just like how there's just this one word. Fuck.
Did you see it?
What did I see? Okay. You cast about for the Confederate recruit, but see no one matching his description. Hello. Grant wants yummy sub of edible goodness.
Be so fine.
Then
Then
boom. Horny. My day do be so fine, and I had just been spending like most of today updating passwords in different accounts that were, you know, either using mobile phone 2FA or had a repeatable password, or, you know, was something very important and I didn't want to like risk, you know, not having a password change to like my bank account or work. Should you sub to Grant or buy a coffee? If there is ever a question about your personal finances, do not have me on the top of your list. Do not have me on your second point on the list. Do not have me on your third, fourth, or fifth. I should be at the bottom. Preferably the second last thing. I feel like I should be above pornographic materials, personally speaking. Everything else, however, goes above me. I'll probably repeat this nonsense once I'm done hitting this narwhal. There we go. What was I? Alright. P.S. Hang on a second. What if I stretch the mic this way and then turn it like so? There we go. Do I still sound crisp when I do? Oh my goodness. Alright. Hang on. Hang on, hang on, hang on. I am a genius. I am a genius.
Ferricures 1221 paid me to say you're at the bottom, like the bottom you are.
Lol, okay. Alright, hopefully I still have my lovely crisp voice while I'm staring to my left, because technically my microphone is normally pointed to the right, but now I force it into the left. And there's a box on my head. Get off my head, please. Yeah. There we go.
Grant's the
All
bottom,
right.
good to know.
Don't. Anyway. If you are ever questioning about your personal finances and whether to support me or any of your other expenditures, please be aware that I should not be at the top of your list. I should not be number 1. I should not be number 2 or 3, 4, 5, 6, or whatevers. I should be at the bottom of your list, or preferably second last to the bottom of your list. I would like to be above porn, or you know, subscriptions that aren't really important, like Apple News, or College Humor, or your Rooster Teeth subscription, or Crunchyroll. Like, I'd like to be above that, but I don't want to be above, you know, sustenance, or rent, or electricity, or your Amazon Prime subscription, or your TV license.
Uranina Zach paid me to say roses are red. Apples are crisp. She's so gay her asshole has a lisp.
What? What? Alright, hang on. Now I need to, like, adjust my mic once again. And then adjust this. Yeah, so I am most certainly going to need to redo my desk at some point, because all my mic shit is on the right side. I feel like half the reason why it's on the right side is because my PC is on the right side. Maybe I need to, like, redo, like, how my thingy. Oh, but it looks weird. Maybe I can just do a mirror. Cause, like, hang on a second. Like, I want to look this way because that's where the mic is. But wait a minute. Oh my god, I have so much.
Go suck a lemon.
You go suck a lemon. You go suck a lemon, and you keep that Phyrexian shit out of my stream. We are not supporters of the Phyrexian movement. We are not looking to be complete. We are perfectly adequate as we are right now. I like my flaws, thank you very much. Not all of them, however. Also, the CPU is not at 99% completion. It keeps thinking I'm looking for support for my mouse. That's not the case. Also, why is it not, you know, fixed itself? Thank you for doing the shout out there, Jason. Was it Jason? Yes, it was Jason. Too late. You have Phyrexian oil slicked lands. Of course you do. Of course you do. Anyway, I just realized something. I have, like, I did some cable management, and I have, like, all this extra cable for my microphone. Oh, Chad. Chad, I think we're doing this. Fuck it. We're doing it live. I am going to basically, like, do a 180 flip. Sorry, not a 180 flip. I'm going to do a horizontal flip of my microphone. So instead of it being on the right side, it's going to be on the left side instead. Oh my gosh, the left side of my desk is going to be so much more busier than my right side. All right, I gotta unbind this. Wait, is it lefty-loosey or do I have to go the opposite way because I'm upside down? Hang on. Is it this one? Oh, okay, so if I'm looking from the bottom and looking upwards, it's lefty-loosey. Okay. It's not, you know, from under, like, anyways, alright, so unbind this. Oh my goodness, it's heavy. Lefty Lucy. Thank you. I remembered. It's Lefty Lucy. Don't cancel me. Don't cancel my Keck W. Okay, so that's loose enough. And then I need to take off this thingy-majiggy, this cable tie. Velcro. Fun fact, if you want to do cable management and you don't want to put it into zip ties...
roses are red. Bacon is, too. This poem doesn't rhyme. Refrigerator?
I feel like it rhymes. Any whoosies, if you want to do cable management, but you don't want to do zip ties, I'm gonna be real with you, please don't do zip ties for your cable management. Get Velcro. Hang on a second, I just realized you got, like, I lifted this up to the screen, like, or to my webcam. I'm not gonna do a face reveal, but, you know, zip ties are stupid. Yeah, Velcro loops. Thank you, Avalon. You can get, like, a pack of 10 from Amazon for, like, less than $10. They are so useful, and you can get Velcro. Velcro straps that are of, like, you know, just an overall massive length, like 10 meters or so, and you can cut those to your defined length. Alrighty, back to moving my mic around. Alright, so I gotta unwind it. Make sure none of the other cables are in my way. Alright, grab you. Move this controller out of the way. Make sure it's not... Ah! Alright, so hang on. You go there. And then... Okay, hopefully this is long enough. As I now... Come on. Oh, we do not hit the fan. Alrighty, and then swap this 80 degrees. Okay. Oh, I'm such a fucking genius. Although, now I have a new problem. The cable I was using is not that long. Oh, wait, I can just take it off the thingy. There we go. All right. And then I righty-tighty it. Let's see if I can... Alrighty. Okay. And then... Alright, the microphone is technically backwards now, but give me a minute. Okay. So... Alright, what's the best way of... So I could... spin it this way, and then... I grab the thingy-majiggy, and then I... Yep. It's gonna sound weird, but, like, because right now I'm speaking to the back of the mic, but I'm gonna rotate this around. There we go. So now it's facing the front. So this is now where it sounds like when my microphone is on my left. Alrighty, and now I need to... hold on. Huh. Okay. I might need a new XLR cable, because right now it's kind of going across, like, it's on the wrong side of my monitor to get enough distance, and yeah. Okay, how long is my desk? I just got a tape measure out, hang on. So the cable has to go at least 180 centimeters. And then, but because I'm going behind the desk, I then need an additional Just let me get to the back of the desk. Oh. 90 centimeters. All right. Well, it doesn't have to go like 100. The tape measure is stuck. Come on, there we go. All right. Oh, so 180 centimeters. Hang on a second. 180 centimeters is... ...71 inches. So... And then I gotta... And then because of the 90 centimeter... Like, it doesn't have to go, like, you know, all... from the front of the desk all the way to the back and then back to the front. It's halfway from the desk all the way to the back, going across the desk, and then halfway down to the back, from back to front. So... And then... So technically it only needs to be like, you know, 45 one direction, then 45 centimeters back, which means I need to put in an additional 35 inches. So 71 plus 35 inches is 106 inches. All right, what's that in centimeters? Let me just run through the... 130... sorry, not 130. 106 inches is... Oh, I went too far. Do not slice yourself on the metallic measuring tape. 106 inches is 2.7 meters. Oh, Jesus. Ah! I am really frightened of tape measures. You know, you can do that thing where, like, you let go of the tape measure and it just starts whirling back into your hands, but then it gets to the end and it just does the... Like, it just... Yeah. Because I once sliced my thumb, like, trying to stop a tape measure by pushing at the side. Also, how am I sounding when I am, like, speaking towards you? So... Right. Oh, nope. Wrong thingy. There we go. So, this is what it look. You've never used a tape. No, I've used a tape measure before. That's how I learned not to grab the tape measure with my thumb. I've used a tape measure before. I should be sleeping, but Grant's energies is great. Yeah. Just, you know, doing a really quick DIY of moving the microphone from the right side of my desk over to the left side. Which means I also have to move the zebra coaster over to the right side instead. And then I move this here, move that out of the way, move this out of the way. So yeah, so now, the next time I am... Grab with your thumb. So yeah, so imagine for a minute, like, you know how... So... How do I explain? So you know how, like, the ruler... Sorry, not the ruler. The measuring tape is, Oh, wait, hang on. Oh, hang on. Give me a minute. I have an app on my phone that could probably explain this. Ah! Okay, I'm gonna need to take my chest off. And then... No... Camera hub, and then EPOS on the webcam, enable preview. Alright then, cool, so that's working. If I go to studio mode and then I go to... And then I enable this, turn this off. The Elgato virtual cam. Then I hit OK. Transform, reset transformation. Why is it not working? Should be working. Oh, activate. There we go. All right, so I had to just like clear a little bit of my desk. So this is the measuring tape. And hang on. So I did this like really dumb thing of like basically like putting my thumb like here, you know, on the sharp side. So I like sliced my Yep, okay. So yeah, I like sliced like myself on the side or something weird like that. And then you know, I can put you here. What the hell is... Oh, that's my auto ducking. That's what it is. Okay, well, auto ducking's not enabled. Turn this back on. There we go. Alrighty. And then I can close that. Close this. Deactivate that camera. Alrighty. So yeah. Yes, it would have been super fucking owie. Turn off studio mode. Also, I need to move my... there we go. Alright, so yeah, so I need to get myself a different XLR cable because this one is not really great in terms of cable management because it's not properly behind my desk and avoiding all these other cables I have. Also, where's my leap motion? Here it is. Oh my god, there's so many cables on my left side now and I can barely see the stream deck. Am I gonna put my stream deck on the right side now? Because like that's... But I feel like I wonder, would I use the WASD more or would I use the mouse more when I want to like press the things? You're not meant to hold a measuring tape by the sides ever. Yes, I've learned my lesson. Thank you very much, Avalon. I've learned my lesson. So yeah, I'm just gonna really quickly head to Amazon and double check the cost of an XLR cable. And let's see if there's XLR cable. Because right now it's like not really that long. Oh my god, they do it in fucking feet? Alright, let's have a look. Alright, so there's a 3-meter pack? Hang on, how much is... So the so there's an Amazon Choice one, and then there's like a best sellers? Like... Apparently I've already purchased... Wait, I've already purchased this one? Oh, wait, no, I purchased the, wait. I did? I purchased... So I'm using a 3-meter one right now? And that's not enough. Cable of Oh, you're thinking of Corruption of Champions. Get your mind out of the gutter. Okay, so I'm looking for... Okay, so that's a 2-pack. I just need a 1-pack. And... Okay, I think I found what I need. Alright, so I'm gonna grab this. Leave that shortcut. And then... Oh my god, why is it in USD? That's the incorrect cost. It should be in like, you know, it should be in Australian, not American. One of those things you learn by doing, though. Yes, it is one of those things you learn by doing. Okay, so that's not working. Hang on, I'm gonna find... Alright, click on my throne there. Opens the new tab. And then log in. Do not say your password out loud. Okay, cool. Yep, I completed my setup. I'm gonna go to my wish list. I'm gonna add an item. Paste the link. It's gonna figure out it's the... Yep, there we go. And I should... Alright, so this is the 20 feet 2-pack. I need 4.5, 3 meters. Wait, hang on. Oh my god, why is there so many product orders and they're not, like, easy to read? Oh wait, no, hang on. So this one is 20 feet / 6 meters. That should be enough, I should say. Alrighty, add that to the wish list. Hopefully that works. Yay! It updated. Excellent. Alright, so there is now... Cool, I got a cable. So, if I get paid, or, you know, someone gifts it, there is now a cable. And then... Also, I need to double check why my, ding. I need to figure out why the Ryzen thingy-majiggy is not doing its job. Settings, integrations, gift overlay, show a background, no advanced theming, save settings. Alright, now, is it an updated overlay, or is it still showing the... Nope, it's still showing the wrong, what's-a-mahoozy. Still showing the wrong item. Anyway, whoosies. I have done everything I need to do. It'll be interesting to see how having a mic on my left side is going to be like when I'm talking to peeps versus when I'm, you know, just staring, like, out in front of me. Also, I need to double check and see why my, leap motion... Did I bump it? Or am I just, like... Is my belly getting too fat and it's, like, now pushing it to view upwards instead of in front of it right now? It'd be really embarrassing if it failed. Alrighty. Gyuki carcass. Oh! I need to now kill this thing. Oh, that was easy to kill. Emits a strong stench that fills the air. Can I still interact? Yes, now I can interact with it. There we go. I've recovered what I need. Oh. And then interact with it again. Why couldn't I just interact with it the one time? Oh, because it wants me to take fucking forever with this step here, apparently. Yes, the carcass is dead. There we go. Alright, and now I need to go and find the missing sailor. Random mount. And there's me going, being held by the back of my head. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Ah, yes, the next location. How am I sounding, chat? Also, cookie for Caffeine Bunny. Do I sound, like, better when I'm, like, looking this way talking to you guys? Compared to when I was, like, looking this way and talking to you guys? Hopefully I sound better. 4 a.m. cookie. Oh, I did not double check my location. What did it say? No match, no match of his description. Righto, so I need to keep looking. Ah, nose. Excuse me. You cast about for the Confederate recruit, but see no one matching his description. We have way too many, three-letter acronyms being used in our, repertoire, I should say. Like, I know there's some obvious ones, such as the FBI, the CIA, and the AFK. Like, I know, like, we have a lot of them, and some of them are, like, really evident, like, obvious kind of stuff. But let me ask you guys, what's the first thing you think of when I tell you this acronym? Or alphabet agencies, then. Because let me tell you, there are a lot of answers to that one, but quite frankly... Okay, cool, Avalon's got it on the first try, the cognitive behavior therapy. Some people think of cock and bull torture. It's absolutely fucking horrendous. And then there's, like, some other kinds that I didn't really focus on, because really it's just, you know, cognitive behavior... Who are you? Do you not look like a man of the Confederacy? Oh yeah, tell this person they're lost. 'Twas but yesterday we bid farewell to one of our own, and I worry that she might have lost her way. We laid here to rest her in a boat and pushed her out till the current claimed it, for the sea is our home, now and ever after. But those sent thither with burdened hearts may drift back to shore, it is said. After concern for her comrades, she strove to earn far more than her keep. She hunted rare and deadly game in treacherous waters and lost her life for it. But my vigil is ended. Her vessel has not returned to Onokoro. She has made peace with this life and placed her faith in us to live on. Hi there, Welcome to the stream! Caramel and banana taco. Cheeseburger tower. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna be real with you, chat. I was not expecting Cheeseburger Tower, but I fucking love that one. I really wish CBT would be for the Cheeseburger Tower. Is that an actual thing, however? Hang on. Cheeseburger... Is cheeseburger one word? Yes, cheeseburger is one word. Cheeseburger Tower. Stuffed cheeseburger tower, mini hamburger tower, a New Year's tower burger, a stuffed cheeseburger tower by the Chef Club US. Nope, a stuffed cheese. Lads demolished cheeseburger tower in under 30 minutes. Okay, so it's really just like a pseudo thing. Someone didn't, like, you know, start a franchise or something. They really could have started a franchise. What? I'm awake. No thanks. I do not want to deal with that shit. I have a lot of people to talk to, and then I need to find my way back there conveniently. You're not into cock and bull torture.
Uranian Nezak thinks you should do 20 squats.
Alrighty then, I guess I'm gonna have to do 20 squats shortly. Okay, once I get past that sentry, I think I will be far away enough that I'm not in danger. And... squats time! One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ugh, hang on my butt. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Thank you for the 20 squats, Renee. Of course you're interested in torturing me like this. Why can't you do nice things for me? Ugh, excuse me. So, what of my recruit? Did you find him napping on the beach or some such? What? All this time he was standing watch for the funerary vessel? Huh. So rarely does he give voice to his thoughts. I had no idea our comrade's death had affected him so. Too quickly was I to judge him. It is good that you went in my stead, else I might have misspoken and made a fool of myself. Please accept this as a token of my gratitude. I couldn't give a shit about the amount of coin you gave me, but I do appreciate the experience. You may have been away for some time, perhaps in search of a young Gookie corpse? Yes, the meat and some arrows. It's a triple burger from Macker's. That's... I've not seen like, I should really not be focused on Macker's. I have made, like, a terrible habit. I've gone more than once a week now. It's really annoying, but more than once a week will I go for, like, 2 double quarter pounders at McDonald's. I need to get out of that habit. I don't need that much, calories in my diet. I'm not pumping that many irons at the gym. Technically speaking, I'm not pumping any irons, but that's beside the point. I need to cut McDonald's out of my, habit. Because, like, there's no necessity for me to eat McDonald's. But for some reason, I still catch myself doing it. I see I did not misjudge you. Thank you for your help. Would that I could have tended to my own kill, but such is life. A pity the meat is not as delicious as it is nutritious. Under normal circumstances, we would not bother hunting gyuki as game. But, as you may have heard, these are not normal circumstances. Arrows too must be reused when possible. A prudent measure becomes necessary alas. With every passing day our future grows more uncertain. But this day we shall have full bellies, and in that must we take solace, and wayward travelers need not risk the ire of vengeful Gyuki by wandering near my neglected kill. A strange sigh passes your lips. Have I said something odd? No matter. Thank you again for your aid. Yay, more experience. Alrighty. Oh, cool. He's got, like, little bombs on his thingy. We get a turban. Oh, wait, that's not like a... That's not an outfit turban. That's a food turban. That's 2 pounds of burger? You approve of this grant for you get a double and triple burger. Oh my goodness. But yeah, I need to try not to do that though. I don't need to go for, like, a pound of meat in my diet. That's not, like, I don't need to go through, like, because hang on, a double quarter pounder makes it a pound, like half a pound of burger, and because I'm getting 2 of those, that's an entire pound of meat in an evening, and I'm doing that twice a week. That's way too much meat. I need to cut out, like, just going for that kind of, like, hunger. Because half the time, like, I don't even need that much food. It's like a weird habit where it's like, oh, I'm stuck at home or something, and oh, I've made it back in time, and it's, I don't have to stream this evening or something. You've been busy, haven't you? And now you're here to ask if I need help with anything. Huh, now that you mention it, lately, we've had trouble with ravenous sharks that have been leaping out of the water and making off with our fish. Damnedest thing I know, but you wouldn't doubt it if you saw it. We've got to cull the thieving bastards regularly. So happens I sent 3 of my mates out there before you came along. Still, the more the merrier. If you can kill 2 or so, that ought to be enough. Take a few of these rotting fish as bait. I'll not be needing them. Oh, and maybe see if you can't find the other group. They've been away longer than I like. Alright, so we gotta grab some sun-ripened chum. Eat less red meats, then. Yeah, I need to eat less red meats. Like, I don't need to eat so much meat. You did the math as double half-pounders. Close, but no cigar caffeine bun. But yeah, terrible habit. I need to get out of it as well. Like, it only took, like, I think 2 meals of the nonsense to make it like a standard order from McDonald's now, and it's like not the best idea, and it's just gonna take me fucking forever to get that out of my you know, because it's not like a hunger thing. It's almost like, oh, you know, I'm not streaming this evening, I should get something to eat, I'm just gonna order in or something like that. I need to get that out of my brain. I need to somehow stop my body from wanting to, you know, go for large quantities of food. You sleep now? Not to worry, Avalon. Thank you for coming along and lurking into the stream. I greatly appreciate it, and I'm really thankful for you for coming along. You're real fun to talk to during Goreflem's streams. So, it's always cool. Alright, hopefully I'm going the right way. Oh wait, I can sprint. Hi there, Savage. Welcome to the stream. I've moved my mic around, so before, like, if I wanted to talk to you guys, I would be talking away from the microphone, because, you know, the microphone was previously, like, if I was facing towards you guys from where the microphone previously was, it would have sounded like this, I think. But now I've moved the microphone over to the side where I see the chat and all this kind of nonsense, so hopefully now it sounds a lot better when I communicate with you. The only downside is that, you know, a little bit of my screen gets blocked because of the fact that I have a boom arm in front of it, but... Or it's not a boom arm, it's like a thingy. It's a mic stand, that's what it is. Or mic arm. Because it's not like a booming size, it's just a normal mic arm size. Nah, he just gets me going out of my shell. That's cool. He does a good job. Oh yeah, he, they. That's what it is in their description. He, they. Or is it they, he? Is it important if there's a difference between he, they, or they, he? Like, is the first pronoun, like, the preferred pronoun for first thingy-majiggy, and then you can kind of, like, fuck up and go for the second one? Or is it, you know, just an either-or thingy-majiggy, and, you know, they just pick the first one just out of pure luck? That you know in Blair's case? Not really. Okay. Fair. So, yeah. Because I know, like, when I first, like, started doing, like, streaming and communicating with peeps on the internet and such like that, I just, like, for a very long time, I've defaulted to, you know, going with he way too often with a lot of different peeps. So there would come a point where, you know, I would have to have someone tell me, oh, it's not he, it's she, or you know, oh, they, or something or rather. So, and I think, like, part of the reason why I would just, like, default to he on the internet when I was, like, you know, when I was, like, mentioning someone and I didn't, like, you know, first think of their pronouns or something like that, defaulting to he, was just because, you know, I'm a he. And, you know, that was just, you know, something I needed to fix. Well, not fix, it's just something I needed to correct. Fixing makes it sound like it's broken, when it's just, yeah. So yeah, so I had to, like, change, so I just had to, like, remember to default to they when referring to peeps. Because then because, like, I don't think anyone gets insulted by they. Even when there's, Spice 8 Rack, they have it/they as their pronouns. It's like, even under those scenarios, they is still acceptable. If they're a he, she, sorry, if they're a she, her, they works as well. He, him, they works as well. Like, yeah. Just need to remember to, you know, do those kinds of things. I hope no one gets, like, peeved off, however, if there's, like, a case where it's like, oh yeah, I've communicated with this. It, to me, feels like an object. Then again, the English language is fucked and supposedly pets are its. Oh, you're right. I've definitely called a dog it. I think, like, my own pets, I've done he's and hers. We've had a lot more he's than hers, though, amazingly enough. I wonder why. We've had a lot more boy dogs than girl dogs. Like, I can think of one girl dog, and I think it was Harley. Or was it Hershey? But all the other dogs have been he's. Ah, yes, just the other day, one of the soldiers deserted base. I suspect he is the man Yasusi is, after. Trade with foreign oh, this is the wrong mission! I just swam to the wrong fucking side of this goddamn map. I was meant to go here. And this, oh my god. Can I meet you at the, this thingy-madiggy? 27.8 by 29.2. I'm gonna be, like, swimming in that direction from the Ruby Price. Alright, hopefully I've made my heading and... Oh, hello! It's a whale! Hang on a second. Why can't I... Oh, there we go. That's probably why. We're in a giant... I have this whale now. I've got this whale now. There we go. Oh no! A stream sniper! While I'm playing a critically acclaimed MMORPG, complete with a friends and party system. Oh, there's an XP bonus in this fate. That's cool. Oh, I need a level sync for this one. So wait, I can attack these things? Cool. The hornbill that nests on the myriad of thingy-majiggy is thingy-majiggy. Will pay handsomely for the removal of these winged pests. Awesome. Oh, I should probably turn on my emulator, so then that way I saw it had XP bonus, and I was like, right, we're gonna do that one. Ugh, excuse me. I swear there would be more of these guys. There's just 2 of them? Get the enmity off them. Hopefully we don't have to kill too many of these things to get it done. Tend to treat our pets as people, and so we use gendered pronouns. Well, yeah, because pets have genders too. Bang. we completed it. Get back here. I want to kill you. Never mind, they're all gone. Alright, cool. Where the This is supposed to be the spot. Now you sleep for real. Feel free to ask me anything in DMs and I'll get to it when I wake up. Not to worry, Avalon. I won't interrupt too many people. Ah, here is the traitor. I would have to be a fool to agree to go with you. I am so close to the Red Kojin settlement. So close to freedom. Time to destroy this samurai. There we go. The fuck is... Oh my goodness. Oh wait, no, that's not important right now. Oh, it wants me going all the way back there, but the mission is that way. So... Where's... Oh, there's right. Right in the pylon 1. There we go. So, can I get rid of... Oh, no. How do I... There we go. So you right-click that, and then... There we go. I'm getting the hang of this. Wait, can you, like, look inside the thingy-majiggy? Oh, we're, like, literally invisible. It would have been funny to be able to see us just, like, sitting inside the whale.
Furry Cures 1221 paid me to say what's that smell? Sniff, sniff, sniff. Oh, it's just Grant. Grant smells like a cutie.
I deny that I smell like a cutie. I am absolutely incapable of being cute. It's like pure fiction. Alright, so... Oh, here's the destination. And then... Oh, you know what I should probably do? I should probably, like... Post channels... streaming... I should be in, like, Zebra streaming just in case. And then if people want to get... Oh, what the... Oh, so use the rotting fish here. And then hit this shark. I forgot to check what strength I am as a, There we go, so that's one of them. And then I need to find the other spot to drop some rotting fish, which should hopefully be nearby. Oh, there it is. Found it. Alright, there we go. There we go. Oh, and then I need to go this way. Never been here before. Do I need the mic closer, I wonder? No, probably not. Well, I moved it closer anyway, so...
Furry Cures 1221 paid me to say okay, then you smell like a stinky booty.
Ah! I can't win with this stinky fur. I can't win with this stinky furry. All right, now I gotta go face one of the evil Ninja Turtles. There we go. Our victory. All right. Industrious pirate. Tell us your secrets. Oh, Kami be praised. I don't know what I would have done if you hadn't come along. My partners and I got separated when we fled. You haven't seen them, have you? Nope, not at all. Damn. Before the Kojin started chasing us, their leader asked us if we were in Doma. They're Yotsuyu's captures. I know it. First Isari and now this? I've got to tell Rasho and the others. Alright, so I guess we're heading back to the... Yep, we're heading back to hand in the mission. I wonder when the next dungeon it will come along. Oh, no, wrong thingy-majiggy. There we go. Shotgun! Look at him. It's like he's driving me to school. I told him I missed the bus, and then he was just like, fine, I guess I'm gonna have to drive you. Why'd you have to pick summer school? This way, actually. Close, but no cigar. Here we go. That is a very me mood. Just sitting there driving like, I was told I was gonna do great things as the Warrior of Light. I was gonna take on primals, face the Garlean Empire toe to toe. Instead, I'm over here in fucking Tokyo Town, driving my assistant as they go and drop fish and catch a predator. Ah, there you are, Grant. I heard you went shark hunting. We too did our fair share of beast culling, though I think Bliss made a stronger impression when she bested a drunken pirate in a sparring match. Fastest knockout to date, I am told. I should like to think we have proven ourselves to be rather... Well, I do get the feeling you have something important to tell me. Kojin mercenaries rounding up Doman Confederates? Surely Yotsuyu has crossed the line now. We must go and speak with Rasho immediately. Even he cannot deny that this changes everything. At least I should like to think that he cannot. Alright, and then we go up here to talk to more of the Japanese Confederacy. You're not the Warrior of Light, you're just a fellow adventurer? Okay, well, in your like, you know, universe, you're the Warrior of Light, though, right?
Our most compassionate acquaintances return. For your deeds, we owe you many thanks. But
Yay.
something tells me our thanks are not sufficient. The strange thing is, I was certain you understood our position. And yet here you are with that same look in your eyes, and those same words upon your lips, I'll wager.
Yes, for very good reason, might I add. Tell him.
I speak only the truth.
Prank him,
The
John.
Confederacy
Prank
will not be
him.
spared Yotsuyu's wrath. You have always known this, that one day you would have no choice but to stand up to the Empire. I say to you that day is today, and come once more to ask that you join us in the fight.
How convenient that recent events should lend such credence to your claims. Tell me, do death and destruction always follow in your wake?
No, but they're most certainly an option if you cross us.
They had no part in it, Tansui. You know this. We all know this. They came and took our Doman brothers. They will torture them for her sport. Murder them for her satisfaction. So we attack and get butchered for our trouble, or do naught and let them have their pound of flesh. If this be our choice, I say we suffer the ignominy. We endure. We survive. There is no better path. Until the day our enemy is grown weaker and we stronger, there can be no retribution. We will wait for a sign. Such is the judgment of the Confederacy.
So that's it then? You're just going to abandon them to her?
Well, to be fair, she has guns, and they are literally, you know, scrounging for ammo for their bow and arrows, so, like, it's not like they're an American militia where they're just freely able to bear whatever arms they want in case they wanted to do a coup.
They'd die for you, you know, for the Confederacy. They would die for you, but you wouldn't even think to risk your lives for theirs.
Ooh, that might have touched a nerve.
I have one last idea, if you will allow. I'm afraid it's not very good as ideas go. It's exceedingly reckless, in fact, and you may well come to despise me for ever having suggested it. Assuming we survive, that is.
Go on.
The question being, do you trust me?
Absolutely not. You look way too much like Alpha Nut. Ask me again later.
We can't stand by and let innocent people suffer, here or anywhere else. I'll do whatever it takes.
Then let us roll the dice.
If it's going to be a case of, oh, the Warrior of Light is just going to go into a stronghold and break them out, Captain America style,
If it's
I'm
a sign
totally
you
up for
want,
that.
we shall give you one. One rousing enough to make you drive every Garlean out of Isari without a second thought. You are wary of invoking the ire of the Imperial forces stationed in Dome, correct? Know then that once we have rescued our comrade and freed Isari, we mean to liberate the nation as a whole. You will doubtless require assurances that we are capable of achieving this, and that is only fair. Accordingly, we shall demonstrate our seriousness by depriving the Garleans of a key ally, the Kojin.
What, the three of you, just like that?
Yeah, most likely. Or a fourth member, because, you know, we need 2 DPSs.
Actually, my esteemed colleague here will attend to it on his own. But the how of it is not your concern, only the outcome. If we succeed, you help us liberate Isari. If we fail, you lose nothing. A simple enough wager, if you have the stones for it.
Yeah, fun fact, they most likely do have the stones for it.
The little miss does make it hard to refuse, does she not?
She has some very convincing points.
Words are air. We will weigh you by your deeds.
That's not a no. Yay! Alright, let's get the Savage Might. Dun, dun. Huh. Something's not right. I'll need to check it another time, but something is not right about my Twitter. The Rasho is a man of few words. He has some left to say. Oh, cool, we can get this stuff, but it's all, you know, useless. So, alone you will deal with the Kojin. If you are set upon this course, I shall give you a word of advice. 2 factions have the Kojin. The mercenaries who serve the Empire belong to the red. Those who belong to the blue are the traitors. They have made no pact with the Imperials and so may be willing to aid your cause. Seek the blue on the Isle of Beko. There you will find a cave. The rest is up to you. Thank you, Captain. We shall endeavor not to keep you waiting over long for your sign. Right then, let us head for... Wait, where is Liz? We cannot leave without her. Dun-dun, dun-dun. Ah! Excuse me. There we go. And then... Oh, cool, I can even get myself an earring, which might be useful. 46, 48, 32, 45. It's not as powerful as mine, but... might be worth... might not be worth. Alright, we might just go for the thingy. Your clothes, your manner. You must be a man of Eorzea. Do you know of the East Aldernan Trading Company, then? I heard they're a fairly prosperous vendor where you are from. Yes, they're like the East Indian Trading Company, except we gotta alter it slightly because this is a fantasy game. Also, I'm just gonna adjust my mic just a little bit more again. Like, I need to find, like, the new position for it now that it's on my left side, and it's gonna be, like, in the way of my... It's gonna be in the way of, like, looking at my screen on the left, which is where I normally put, like, a lot of videos and what have you. Because, like, I can't put it, like, say, right in front of me. Like, I can't put that, like, right here. That's gonna be annoying as F. I need to find, like, a good spot for it. Alright, not ooh, maybe? Here? Maybe here? Ah, ow, my arm. What the fuck? Ah! Hang on. Ah! Sorry, stretching. Your acquaintances with the Kugane branch office owner? Oh ho! The chief's been searching in high and low for a well-connected man such as yourself. Okay, the cable here is not being helpful. Alright, there we go. But before we go into that, allow me to introduce myself. I am Hansaku, and you would be... Grant. That should be easy enough to remember. Now, Grant, do me a favor and meet with the chief, would you? Ever since those damned Garleans strengthened their grip on Higashi, our contacts in Kugane have quit trading with us. He could really use our help in establishing a new business partner. Please, I wouldn't ask if I wasn't desperate. You see, I only just joined the blah 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 blah. Could not care any further about that nonsense. Alrighty, and now I need to talk to someone in this area here. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, I need to talk to you. I need to talk to you. Have I been, like, shadow banned on Twitter? Shadow ban chest is a very unethical way to silence people already. Alright, let's have a look. GrantZeebs. Check. causes an account to not populate search suggestions in people's search results when it's searched. Seems to take tie strength or similar into account. We are unable to test for technical issues. This is what is a controversial shadow ban. Have I really? We found a tweet with at least one reply on your user's profile. A tweet reply is detached. What? We can only detect the presence of specific ban or deboosting methods, not their absence. There may be others which do not know or cannot easily test for. Have I been shadow banned on Twitter? Oh my goodness. Color me curious then. Control-Shift-N. Copy. Paste. Oh, you motherfuckers! I have been fucking shadow banned! Those fucking crypto bros! Fuck! So yeah, they know it exists, and I'm having an issue with, like, search suggestions. Motherfucker! Because if I do, like, if I go into incognito mode and I go into, hang on a second. So if I click this thingy-majig, Control-C, Control-Shift-N, incognito mode, and do the search without a user account connected or anything like that, from @GrantZeebs, it tells me there are no research results from, with the from GrantZeebs. And if I type in GrantZeebs, just the username into the search, it presents, like, other people who may have mentioned me. Twitter.com/GrantZeebs. Okay, cool. I'm still there if you directly go to me. That explains, like, because I've had, like, no likes or retweets on my shit. That's fucking horseshit. Fucking crypto bros. Fucking bullshit. remove that nonsense then? Once you've confirmed its place to chat, there are some steps you can take. Remove the post that could have gotten you shadow banned. They usually post spam, mass follow other accounts, or engage in hateful conduct, removing any questionable things. Lay low for a while. Contact Twitter support. You can try, that is not uncommon, tries to restrict bots on its platform. If you posted a lot of content a very short, and they may have mistaken you for a bot and handed you a shadow ban. Motherfuckers. Pain. Literal pain. Ah. Well, that's just ruined my entire fucking night, didn't it? The amount of times there's been a fucking dick, tits, it's and all kinds of weird shit on my chat, on like my Twitter account before, like, you know, two months ago when I decided to merge the two things, or any of the times that I have been like, I don't give a shit about Trump, and like some of the other political views I decide to have on it. Totally no problem at all. I see people left and right of my friends and such getting the shadow ban because apparently they post too many boobies. But oh, apparently if I get hit by a crypto bro who takes over my account, does one post, deletes the fucking thing, I try and delete it, I recover, turn on the 2FA, then I just get thrown the fucking shadows? Fuck's sake. Because, like, impression-wise, like, if I share... Let's see. Let me go back to before I got my account taken or something like that. If I do a post, say, like, for my, like, a lot of the shit I would have, like, you know, either posted or retweeted. I normally get, like, 200-300, like, impressions or something like that. Or, hell, when I do an announcement of, like, oh, I'm gonna be streaming shortly. Like, those, I will normally get at least one retweet because of a bot deciding it. And, you know, odd 200 people. The last 2 times I've announced that I was about to go onto stream, I have gotten maybe 50 people, or maybe 50 impressions, no likes, no retweets. This makes so much more sense. God damn. Alright, who am I following right now? I am going to need to double check how many peeps I might be following or some shit and make sure I'm not getting, like, you know, a crypto bro in my follow list. Because goddamn. Alright, thankfully my list is short. I only have, like, a couple hundred people as, like, I'm following. Grant, what is it? Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to wander off. I just wanted to think. You're worried we won't be able to live up to our promises. No, it's not that at all. If anything, I'm frustrated that I didn't think of it first. Ida and my father had a way with words. They knew how to inspire people, how to bring them together. I always hoped I might have something of that in me too, but I'm starting to think that I don't. What am I even doing here? Lise, you... Gods, listen to me. I don't know where that came from. Forget I said anything. We have places to go, Imperials to fight, and friends to save. And we're not going to get any of it done by standing around and moaning, alright? Right. Before we traveled to Grey Albania, I was in Limsalo Minsa, visiting a friend. A friend who had been through a great deal. there's neither here nor there, I suppose. Anyway, on the way back, I passed a pastry which sold some of the most exquisite-looking tarts I had ever seen. I've always preferred cookies, to be honest, but nevertheless, I tried to stop and try one. I'll treat you to one when all this is over. Grant, too. And I won't take no for an answer. Thank you for saying you're my biggest fan, Furry Cures. What about Y'shtola? We never hear the end of it. Alright, Y'shtola too. Once she's better, deal. Good? Then let's hurry, shall we? We have a million things to do before then. Excellent.
Uranian Nezak thinks you should do 20 squats.
Oh, of course I gotta do 20 squats. Alrighty then. Squatting time. Stretching! Stretching! Ugh. Big stretch for the big boy. Alright. Make sure I don't fart while squatting. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Wait, no, hang on. I only needed to do 20. I don't need to do 26. I counted too much. I was too focused on counting. Fuck. Ignore those 6 extra squats. Can I pet it? Where's the pet thingy? Ah, here's the pet thingy madiggy. He's Mike TV! Jump. There we go. Okay, so you want me pulling double booty. And then join on the Isle of... Okay, so we need to go there. But what's over here? Sorry, I get distracted by other things. This is why I probably wouldn't work well in an, a free-to-play game like Destiny 2. I'd get lost. Oh my god, it's Savage. Hang on a second. I see them. Hello? Hello. Hopefully that's that's going into comms. I just need to double check and see where my where is Discord Fugi? There we go. And then turn on the group. And there we go. There's Savage. They got like a lot more himbo energies in their profile icon right now. Do not get confused. Yeah. No, don't look at the crotch. Do not get confused by the fact that they're like, a cool ass looking bunny reaper. This is what they look like. Yeah. So yeah. Dink. Invite to party. Yay.
God, I still have I still have so much shit that I haven't done on this character.
There's so much shit I haven't done on this character either. Like,
what fucking Wait. I don't even remember. I can't even remember what quest this is. What? Oh, it's that one. It's that one. Okay.
Yeah, this is just the blue one for the whatsamahoozy for the Aether Current
I was
thing.
trying to figure out what quest I have.
Oh,
For my
lol.
main scenario, because I'm like, I have no clue what quest that is.
Do you know at least the expansion that you're in?
It's Shadowbringers.
Oh, okay.
I need to think. Fuck, what was the last dungeon? Is it? No, it's not that one. It's, okay, yeah, I'm well into shit. Wait. Hold on. I need to find out. Main... Set. Scenario... Quests. I need to look this up. Shadowbringers... Oh, so I'm at the dungeon... I'm at the quest where I have to do the second last dungeon of Shadowbringers, apparently.
Oh, okay. I am a long ways from there. I am still in Stormblood. And...
God, it's like I still have so many classes to level. I've at least gotten every class to 30.
That's cool. That's good. You're doing the
That's
same
nice,
sort of
'cause
thing
now-
as, whatsamahoozy, Alvirus.
Well, I was like, I wanted to get at least all of them to 30, because once you get to 30, you have, like, as example, if I go in something like Palace of the Dead, I will literally have every ability up to level 60. Like, all my class abilities up to 60 in there. Like, basically, whatever that class's level 60 kit is, that's what you'd essentially have in there. Whereas when you're not level 30, you barely have anything. Like, going into Palace of the Dead once you have the job stone is so much nicer. So much more enjoyable.
That's good. I wonder, is Velk sitting in any of the channels? No, they are not. Okay, so he's just gonna be silent.
Oh yeah, I don't have that. Eventually,
Cool.
I'm getting them all leveled up there.
So wait, is this more than just a, like this particular mission, is this like more than just the standard, oh, we are going to get an Aether Current? Is this going to be like actually multiple things?
I don't know.
Oh, I should probably share my stream so then that way you have a means of being able to view what I'm doing rather than, you know, relying on the stream where there could be like other things in front of me.
Oh yeah, the Heavens Ward relic. I was messing with for some reason. I forgot about that.
Oh yeah, I still got the Heaven's Ward for the whatsamahoozy, Dark Knight.
I'm gonna eventually, like, once I get through doing my once I'm finished leveling my classes, well, actually, I should say once I'm done getting all the tombstone gear for classes, that's when I'll start doing that.
Oh yeah, tombstone. That's the that's like the end, quote unquote end game stuff for each of the expansions, isn't it?
Yeah, basically.
Oh my god, look at this fucking tiger.
Because essentially, what would be a good example?
Tiger.
Well, no, that was a good example. Well, okay, yeah, a good example. Like, look at my gear at the moment. This is essentially the kind of gear I'm going to be getting. I'm going to grab for each class.
Slut. Like, look at him,
like,
chat.
No, I mean if you actually like inspect me and look at.
Oh.
Basically, what you're seeing there is the kind of gear you can get for the Poetics, which is what I'm going to try to do, is just stock up on all that for each of the expansions, for each of the level ranges. So which will mainly be 60, 70, and 80. Because level 50, I can get some gear that's basically about the same level just by unsyncing a thing. It's honestly really easy to unsync, so yeah.
Yay. Yeah, himbo. But yeah, look at... Wait, where's the cat? There's the cat. Look at the cat. No, not that cat. This cat. Look at it. Look at this little cat.
I need to see if I'm at the ramp where I can turn in earpieces.
Alright, so I need to go...
Because I need to get into the one where I can turn in your company. If I don't know it already.
There we go. He's such a cute cat. It's a Z. I noticed it's striped, but I appreciate you considering it zebra, but I know what a tiger is. That's a tiger. It's just a tiny little tiger cub. Nope, wrong thingy.
Serpent Sergeant. I need for that. Oh. Need Sergeant second.
Like if it was maybe like this kind of thing with stripes, then I'd believe you it's a zebra. I'd believe you if it was like this shape. Ow! Noel, I got you on the first bonk. Alrighty, so, yep, Savages there. Then you went off to the Free Company. Oh, sorry, no, you went off to New Gridania. That's it. Alright, and then show the East Indian, the Scarlet Flag, and inventory thing. Okay, so they want me doing that all the way in Hingashi, which I'm gonna say, fuck that. The Isle of Boko something. Oh my god, what the hell is that? It's a fucking... it's a slime.
Yeah, that's the mount you get from the most recent Gathering Beast tribe. I believe it is. I think they're gathering.
Ah.
Yeah.
Cool. You threw me in the hole and I noticed you, Noel. I just didn't say anything. Sometimes people can notice things without making a mention. Alright, so... Alright, let's see. So the price of betrayal is all the way down there. But we don't have to go all the way down there. We just need to go there. Alright, can I drive this motorcycle into the water? No. I was really hoping I could just, like, hydroplane the entire way there, quite frankly. Oop. There we go. I don't care for that. Foods increase. Wear is reduced. Oh, I am wearing, like, the best thing I can. Alright. Alize, tell us more. I think this is the Isle of Beko, though, to be honest, it looks the same to me as however many other islands are around here. Rasho said there was a cave that would lead us to their village. We should search further inland. Oh! Savage. You said you had... So, because last night I like brought up Destiny 2, and you had been going through Destiny 2, but you had some concerns about it that were still a problem because they had problems that were still there from like however long ago they did like the start of Destiny 2, I think, didn't you?
Well, it's not really issues that are still there. It's more just with the most recent expansion, shit's just gotten the difference a bit too much for me, and I'm just like, I'm gonna see how things go, if they possibly address it, but at this point, I'm like, it's at the point where like, earlier today, I literally uninstalled P2, because I'm just, it was fun for that bit I messed with it, but then the fact that, like, some of the shit that I want to do, I just can't because fuck you, shit's too difficult. It annoys me.
Okay, because I tried to, like, because I got to start on it. All right, let's see if I can make it. Sprint, jump, cool, jump. All right, I'm clearing. Oh, cleared it. I'm just too fucking good for this game. Anywhoosies, so yeah, because I, like, tried to get a start on it just before they released, Lightfall, or whatever the newest one is. And, like, I was in the Cosmodrome, or whatever the fuck it was called.
Up ahead?
And then the next thing they did their, you know, hardware downtime thingy-madiggy for the new expansion. I went back into the game, and then I was thrown into, like, a ship, and all of my gear went from, like, you know, 13 to 1500 kind of stuff to everything being a minimum 1600.
Bonker.
Yeah, because basically what happened is basically when the new expansion came out, everything was brought up to that level, essentially.
Do they do that with, like, every expansion? Like, they bring the minimum...
Yes, they bring the base up. They always bring the base up.
Huh. Okay. I don't know how I feel about that, because that makes it sound like, because was there ever, like, were they always over 1,000 points, or was there a point, did they start from, like, level 1 to 30, and then they just escalated?
It was lower. Like, the shit was a lot lower before, and then it gradually increased.
Okay. How long ago did you start in Destiny 2?
I technically started at the beginning, basically.
Like, Destiny 1 beginning?
I literally bought the game. I played Destiny 1, but I literally got Destiny 2 like a month after it released.
Okay. I am never fortunate enough to do that whole, like, getting into a franchise or to a game, you know, on release or something like that when it's, like, a big title, like, MMO-wise. The only game or franchise I can think of where I've done that is Assassin's Creed. That's the only one. I saw it on, like, the JB Hi-Fi shelves, and I was like, oh, Assassin's Creed 1, that looks kind of fun. I actually enjoyed it a little bit, and then I saw the trailers for Assassin's Creed 2, and I've just been hooked ever since.
Yeah.
That's been the only franchise. Everything else, I've always come in, like, 2 or 3 thingy-madiggies behind, like Halo, where I didn't get into it until, like, Reach, basically.
Yeah. So my biggest issue with, like, how things are now is essentially it seems like you have to, like, play into these, like, specific unkillable builds, or else you're gonna risk dying constantly. And I don't like that. I don't like the idea that you have to play this certain build that's just so good that you barely ever die, or else you're gonna have to worry about dying constantly. Like, I hate the idea of that.
There isn't, like, a lot of wiggle room in regards to, oh, what can the floor be, like, you know, legitimate floor or soft floor, basically.
Because, like, I just noticed that with this expansion, shit is just hitting so damn hard that I have trouble staying alive compared to last expansion. It, like, yeah, feels like, I'm gonna be honest, it feels like they're doing, like, twice as much damage at times compared to before. Like,
Okay.
and for what I've like, it kind of feels like because they nerfed a thing that we have for to reduce damage, that reduces our damage that we take, which is a damage reduction. But then it also feels like they turned up the damage that the enemies are dealing. So when you combine both of those,
it increases the damage quite a bit.
Bubble.
It just adds on
By
to
the
the
12.
fact that
I think we're on the
dying.
seabed.
Do you think that's
From what I'm
because
hearing,
the
they
player base is playing way too much into meta? Or do you think
Probably.
I thought I
That
heard
could be
familiar
part of it, and then
voices.
it's also just like they're just catering to the people who are like who play the game just really hardcore, which I don't, honestly. Like, it's been fun to do the harder stuff, but like I'm not one to like go after the hardcore shit and that, and I'm like, and it feels like for the more casual player that you're just getting screwed over at this point.
Because the game's been out for like
I'm
6
gonna
years, hasn't
Be
it?
completely blunt. Final Fantasy 14 is more casual friendly.
Oh yeah, I
Like
100% believe
not
that.
even joking. Like, and I know that nobody else would. I know nobody would argue with me on that. I know so many friends who would agree with that. Honestly.
Gee, I wonder
fucking
how.
true,
I think the reason being is like kind of an obvious one, which is that Final Fantasy 14 is an MMORPG where, because how long has it been like an MMORPG for? It's been around just as long as WoW, hasn't it? Like 10 years plus now.
Let me look it up. I'll double check the exact release.
Because I think the difference is like, because we hear it in the way Yoshi P makes his expansions and such, but they've been at this for like a really long time, and their methodology of their game as a service isn't to convince people to get back in as often as they can for several months pangs like battle passes. It's like, look, we're gonna do an expansion, it's gonna probably be a few years before you get another one maybe, but you got your time.
So it looks like it's basically been out for a decade now, it seems.
Final Fantasy?
Yeah, for about 10 years.
Alrighty then. Because with Destiny 2, I'm fairly sure they said 6 years was their one. Because it's like mentioned in their Battle Pass thing in particular, where it's like, oh, season whatever, year 6. Like, that's kind of like their naming.
2017.
Alright,
The
so
end of September 2017. So, yeah.
Okay, so 2018, 2019, 2020, 21, 22, 23. Yeah, so we're on to its 7th year right now. And, like, I think because of the two ways that it's been going through its, like, games as a service, the first one being that shit got locked down when you couldn't play it. Like, I can't play the Red
vaulting
War.
Shit, the vaulting of expansions is honestly one of the things that pisses me off the most.
I think it pisses a lot of people off, and it was a.
And the fact that they still charge full price, that they're still charging as much as they are for Forsaken.
Oh, that's.
Those are the two, like, honestly, the vaulting, that one's not as bad when you look at the fact that they are still charging you for the expansion Forsaken. That is them charging you for Forsaken is the most egregious thing out of everything.
But the alternative,
Destiny 2.
the alternative to paying full price on the expansion is, going into a subscription model, which I think a lot of people would be like. I think a lot more people would be pissed off with a subscription model than paying for the expansion just one off.
So real quick, do you want me to explain why I say that paying for Forsaken is one of the most egregious things that they ask you to do?
Because it came out like 3 years ago, and it's the last expansion that's not vaulted.
No, that is not it.
Okay.
Technically, it has been vaulted at this point.
What?
Because no joke, the only thing you can do in Forsaken is that Forsaken pack, you get some exotics. You're able to get some exotics out of it. You get a raid, a dungeon, some strikes, and the zone, the Dreaming City. That's it. That's all you get.
So it's not even like you play Forsaken. You're just sort of getting like bits and pieces.
You literally get access to the area. You get access to that area and the activities that are in there. Like, it's literally the same as like everything that was before Forsaken, essentially. Like, you basically have the same shit as that, and that's it. There really isn't any story left for Forsaken anymore. Like,
That's annoying.
Like, I look at it, and it's like, at least Shadowkeep Beyond Light, you can still play through their full stories. You can still play through their campaigns. Forsaken, you can't do that.
But they still sell Forsaken as an expansion at full price.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, literally, if you were to look right now on Steam, Forsaken is literally the worst rated expansion out of all of them. All the recent reviews are mostly negative, and they all talk about the fact that they all literally, like, even there's even ones that are recommended ones that literally say that you literally can't play majority of the actual campaign. Like as example, right here, I bought the DLC because I never thought a company would vault a paid DLC. People pay for this shit, and the only thing I get from this is 3 exotics, a bunch of strikes, and a PvP map. The only reason I bought it, so I can't be bothered to be locked out of the Nightfall, since for some, I'm guessing they say, fucking reason, I need this DLC that has been vaulted in the game. Like, literally, it's basically just a little, like, essentially the Forsaken pack is a little...
It's just a weapon pack.
Literally, it's a $25 Canadian little just pass that allows you to do all the content for the Dreaming City area. Basically, that's all it is.
Oh, it's only $9 for me.
Like, yeah, well, that's currently because it's on sale. Obviously, that's because it's on sale. But the normal
so wait,
price
if I buy
$25.
Destiny 2, the Witch Queen, that doesn't give me access to the previous expansions. I have to pay those separate.
Nope. You have to pay for every expansion individually. That's another thing that I still have to give it to 14.
Yeah, because as far as I know, 14 doesn't have me like paying for each expansion. It's like I pay the subscription and it gets me access to up to where we're at.
Well, basically, you pay the subscription and then you pay for the most recent expansion, and boom, you have everything. Basically, it's like, because with 14, if somebody was coming in completely fresh to the game, they just have to buy Endwalker, and boom, they'll get Heaven's Ward, Stormblood, and Shadowbringers completely without having to pay for them separately. Because basically what they do is, like, when you register that most recent expansion, boom, it just unlocks all the others for your account.
Okay.
It's stupid. But, like, here's the big thing, though. Because if you're going by the base prices for Destiny 2, it would cost... let me see.
Browse all. Hang on a second.
It would cost... Holy crap. It would cost $240 Canadian just to get all the DLC for Destiny 2.
Which would be a lot more in Australian, so nearly 300.
And that's just the base versions of shit. That's not counting any like the annual pass version of Lightfall, which I actually ended up buying, and I regret, honestly, at this point. But yeah, it's like,
So what I'm hearing is, don't buy into any of the Destiny 2 DLC.
honestly, at this point, that's my opinion on shit. I would not, like, I'm at the point where literally after Lightfall, I'm probably just gonna drop Destiny 2.
Radio.
Because like, if I'm gonna play a game,
What
like
are you
that,
doing here?
that's kind of like Destiny 2, I'll just play 14. Honestly, they.
What a curious question. I live here.
I feel like honestly, 14 respects your time and also respects like your fucking money more than a company like that.
Yeah, because
than
Yoshi
fucking
P,
Bungie
like,
does.
because Yoshi P with like after the the fuck around that Square Enix did at 1.0, Yoshi P like basically had to rip everything down, build it back up again. Granted, there was a lot of crunch that went off in there, which isn't really great, but he did all that, and then
like,
most of the interviews when it comes into like, oh, the player base, how he wants them to act and such like that, he very much enjoys people being creative and what have you, but not asking them to commit to like say dailies and such, because sure, they're in this thing like the Wondrous Tales and the roulettes, but they don't feel like requirements really.
Yeah, they're only like it's stuff that you can do, but like let's say you have a certain goal, it's more worth it to do them. But they're not something that you have to do.
Everything is encouraged, nothing is mandatory. I think Pint,
Like-
the multiplayer content creator, said, wasn't it, in one of their videos?
Yeah, I don't know for sure, but yeah, like for me as example, like obviously, like if you're doing like, let's say you're somebody who does the more high-end stuff like Savage and shit like that, obviously it's advantageous for you to make sure to get your the weekly tomes capped and stuff like that. Because you want to make sure you have those so you can get the gear that you're gonna need.
So yeah, you get your best gear,
But
do
yeah.
the materia meld. Hi there,
But,
Sashara.
like for the majority of people, but when you look at it, for the majority of people, it's like for like your more casual players, it's not like, hey, you need to do this and this and this. But it's like you can do these things, but you don't have to, because yeah.
Yeah.
And then hell, like even realistically with 14, the harder content isn't that bad, actually. Like hell, I look at like when I was going through Lightfall, I was like, good God, this is so much more difficult than it needs to be.
Yeah.
Well, that's an outlier. That's the outlier.
You debate with top. What? Okay, I'm guessing because it's capitalized, top is an acronym.
That's the newest Ultimate Raid. That was released. Like that's the newest Ultimate Raid. And here's the thing. That is the outlier out of the Ultimates.
Because it's just brand, like, is there a history of the brand spanking new raid or whatever being problematic,
this one's quite a bit high, like DSR, which was the one just before. That one was pretty difficult, but this one seems a step up. Like from what I've heard, it's a step above. It's literally been so bad that there have been like it's difficult enough that there are some groups where like there's some pretty toxic shit that happens. Yeah. Okay. Exactly. There's a lot of statics who will constantly be kicking people out and shit. like there was literally this one. I hate it. So there was a video I watched about this one group where they had an Astro in, and the Astro I'm gonna be honest, they were mainly doing like their OG CD healing. They weren't really doing the like using the actual like normal GCD heals that much. And the Sage who was in the group, there was a downtime phase where they were taking no damage, and they were just constantly applying shields. I'm sitting here like, what are you doing? Like, so they were doing it so much that they literally burned through all of their mana. Like, they went into that downtime phase at like, I think 4,000 mana or some shit. Like 3,000 or 4,000, and then during that downtime phase, it was just just constantly saw it going down. Like, I'm just like, what are you doing? It makes no sense. Like, and here was the funny thing though, that Astra who's using less abilities, they actually ended up doing more effective healing than the Sage.
Okay.
So even though they were doing less healing, using less healing abilities, their effective healing that came out of it was actually better. Meaning the Sage was wasting their mana for nothing, basically. And then in the end, the group ended up siding with the Sage. Which makes no sense, but yeah.
Then
Okay.
this is the home of the Blue Kojin.
But I will say, the ultimate raids, they like from my experience.
Just so,
trying
I
at
bid you
least a few of
welcome
them,
to
they're
Tamamizu.
actually like when you have the right group, they're actually pretty fun. In all honesty.
Hi, Chaos
'Cause, like,
slash
I've done-
Leon.
The two I've messed with have been Uwu and Yukop. Those are the two main ones I've done.
Uwu is not a real raid.
It is. That's
That is
literally the acronym
that
for
is
it.
not a real
No
raid.
joke. I'm not joking you. That is what people call one of the ultimate raids.
Oh my, what the fuck is it with companies just making, like, do they not realize the acronyms of these?
It's not the company. It's not the company. It's the community who call it that.
Okay, but the community, so like, so the Uwu raid, what is, like, if you had to spell out the raid, what is it? Because if it's going to be a case of, it, like, you know, don't chuckle at cock, it was named Corruption of Champions, it is very on the nose that Corruption of Champions wanted to be cock. Ultima Weapon Ultimate. They must have known it was going to be a woo.
Well, hold on. That Ultima Weapon Ultimate, that's what people call it, because that's essentially what it is. But the actual name of the ultimate is the Weapons Refrain Ultimate. That's the actual name of it, the Weapons Refrain Ultimate. That's the name that it shows up as in-game, but people just call it Ultima Weapon Ultimate because that's
so
literally what it is.
EWRU.
Yeah,
Twirr. God damn it.
But yeah, and then UCOB is the unending coils of Bahamut, I believe it is.
The unending
So,
coils of Bahamut.
Yeah, so you can see what that one's obviously self-explanatory for UCOB.
Yeah, I heard of UCOB. That one just sounds like dumb acronym and such, but Uwu just sounds like, god damn it.
Then there's T, which is from Shadowbringers, which would be the Epic of Alexander Ultimate. Then DSR, Dragon Song's Reprise, and then Top, the Omega Protocol. So, yeah. So yeah, we literally have Uwu, UCOB, T, DSR, and Top.
Thorax is linked me the
So,
weapon.
yeah.
The Ultimate Omega Claymore. A level 90 weapon with 3 materia slots. Why does it look like a Keyblade to me? Hang on.
Oh yeah, thinking about it.
It makes me think of a Keyblade, this thing. Why am I thinking of a Keyblade? Have I just been playing too much Kingdom Hearts now that I look at a blade and I'm like, that's a Keyblade right there? Although I do like its particle effects. That's actually really cool. I quite like it.
Oh, shit.
All right, I gotta go talk to the Ninja Turtle Soroban.
So, that's the one for you, Cobb.
I can't
This
select that
is
right
the
now because I'm in
one-
a dialogue thingy-majiggy right now.
Wait, wrong one. That's the wrong one.
So tell me, my friends, what strange tides bear you to our home? That indeed is a most dire predicament, but perhaps an opportunity for us to craft yet another profitable arrangement. Very well, I shall introduce you to our leader, Bunchin. It will be up to you, however, to present your case.
Wait, I need to do... Ultima...
Corgi time. Or Shiba time.
Yeah, Deathbringer Ultima, that's the one. Okay. So there's all the other 4 Dark Knight ultimate weapons.
Oh my god, that's so many, like... Some of them
There's
look
literally
pretty
5
cool.
weapons.
I think Deathbringer Ultima is, like, the current path that I'm on. I just need to go through, like,
That's
the different stages.
That's the nice one. That's the one, yeah, that's the Heaven's Word one. Actually, the
God damn, this guy is
Uu and
decked
T
out.
Ones, the Uu and T ones are both the, those are the 2, those 2 are based off of the Heaven's Word, relic for,
90 and 70.
for Dark Knight. Well, Dark Knight Machinist
80.
and, well, no, actually, no, it's just Dark Knight. Think about it. Or no, is it? I think,
Wait, so
oh, yeah, Dark Knight Machinist and Astro.
Deathbringer Ultima is level 70, but the Ultimate Dreadworm Claymore is a 70 as well.
Yeah, basically, essentially what happened, how that works is one of them was released for the first raid, after the first raid tier for Stormblood came out, and then the other one was the second one. So like, as example for Stormblood, you have the actual like 8-man raids are called the Omega raids, which the 3 different
Welcome, guests. Gratitude to you for aiding Soroban in his negotiations.
God damn, this guy talks with like... Is he gonna talk slowly?
We
Or
thank you for your
is he gonna
hospitality,
talk with
honoured
a,
elder. Pray forgive me my brevity, but I wish to discuss an urgent matter.
He does look pretty cool decked out in his like samurai outfit rather than looking like a ninja turtle though.
So, you seek to compel our red brothers to forego hostilities for a time.
I know that sounds difficult because you're green, and I know green doesn't equal red, but you're one of the few peeps we can talk to.
That's right. We know your 2 clans have your differences, but what with you being brothers and all, we thought you might be able to share some secret knowledge?
Secret knowledge? Oh, yes. Secret knowledge, because turtles are just gonna be, you know, buddies with other turtles.
From far above, you have journeyed here in search of our wisdom. You shall have it. All creation is a tapestry, through which the divine is interwoven. Kami are legion, and they can be found in the great and the small. Though they come and go as they please, they favor certain vessels. The ancient, the precious, the exquisite. We Korjin covet these vessels, these treasures. We go forth and bring them home.
Wait, the
safe
turtle
and
shells aren't
vast in
attached
the
to them?
infinity.
Like, that's just
They
a
bring
detachable thing?
prosperity and joy to us and our children.
I thought turtle shells, like, stuck onto their backs or some shit. Savage. Do turtles not have their, like, shells attached to their backs?
I never really paid attention to it, but actually looking at them, no, I don't think they are.
I thought that was like a trait of turtles.
Look at the two right there.
Yeah, one of them is like one of them is like, you know,
Because like
rubbing a shell right now.
Like, look at their like the shoulders, around their shoulders. There's like
they
a
got
strap.
this.
I just noticed that.
They're not real turtles. Fuck! I thought they were real turtles. Like, they evolved from them or something rather. Not, you know, pretending to be turtles. Absolute betray right now. Because I was calling them Ninja Turtles last week. They're not even real turtles.
Yet, how are we to seek these treasures above if we made enemies of the Garlean Empire? Powerful and far-reaching as they are.
Absolute betrayal.
Wiser to join with them. So resolved the Red Korjin.
No, there's nothing wrong with being a Ninja Turtle, Velk. The issue is that these aren't real Ninja Turtles. They're not real turtles. They're not, like... As, like, Urone is making mention, real turtle shells are not removable. It's an extension of their skin or some shit. These guys just have them, like, strapped to their backs. I thought that was just, like, an extra thing for, like, you know, to hold the chest piece in front of them or something like that, but no, it's to actually, like, keep the shell on them.
Cautiously and carefully, for the Garleans are blind to the divine, nor will they suffer their subjects to see. So the Red masquerade as mercenaries who seek money and power and never speak of their faith in the presence of their masters. To honor the divine, they deny it. A twisted and misguided path.
Wait, do Koopa shells, are they detachable? Or are they, like, stuck on them?
Aye, aye. Kami will not abide such foolishness. This they shall learn to their sorrow.
I need to look this up. Are Koopa shells detachable? Koopa shells detachable. With removable shells! God fucking damn it. Does Bowser's shell comes out. It cannot be hurt by any object except the gold star, which is the only item that is completely invincible until the character using that item falls off the track. Is that 2, as it can fall off, and if it does, then the shell automatically breaks. God damn it! I've been fucking cheated my entire life. I thought there was like this huge fucking conspiracy theory that you were like having to kill any Koopas in order to like get the Koopa shell. Like that wasn't like a detachable thing.
While our red brothers live by the sword, we blue Korjin uphold the old ways, engaging in trade and valuing peace. Alas, men distinguish not between our clans, and judgment for the doings of the red falls unjustly upon the blue. Thus do men grow more and more reluctant to deal with us, denying us our treasures. This cannot continue.
On that point, we are in agreement. You are willing to aid our cause, then?
He said nothing about aiding our cause. He's just complained.
There is a way that the red may be driven to retreat into their shells. But to share with you this knowledge is to reveal secrets of the divine.
For most classes, once you hit 7,
Assurances must first be had.
Yeah, I think once you
Trust
get 70 for
forged.
most classes,
A bargain
you
struck.
don't have to do the job quests anymore, from what I remember.
Well said,
kinda
Elder.
nice.
In great crises
Oh,
is
okay.
great profit to be had.
I think there's like obviously like certain ones. where you
Delight
still
not
have
overmuch
directly
in such
posts.
things, Sodogon.
You don't have to
Now,
do the
tell our
70 to 80
guests
ones.
what must be done.
I didn't notice any missions from the 60 to 70 that I had to do that, or like, you know, the post Heavensward Dark Knight missions. I didn't notice any of them that were like giving me a skill.
As you
I think I was
wish.
just acquiring them via levels. Or I might be wrong. I'll need to double check.
Well, I've no idea what we've gotten
The
ourselves
only
into,
one-
but
yeah, actually,
so
no,
far so
yeah,
good,
it
right?
really stops at 70. The only one that would actually give you something, an ability, would be level 70.
Oh, Velk says they phased it out because people don't do the
'Cause,
class
yeah.
quests. I kind of like the class quests. I was able to blitz through like the warrior class quests, the ones between A Realm Reborn and Heavensward. I was able to blitz through those ones in one session, and I haven't yet gone back to do the warrior class quests now that I finished Heavensward and gone into what's-mahoozies. Is there going to be a dungeon soon? I kind of want to be able to get you guys into a dungeon rather than, you know, leaving you standing around. Well, my friends, we require your assistance with the search for a priceless treasure.
Sure.
The Yasakani no Magatama. Yasakani no Makada. I can't say that quickly. This jewel, this most sacred of Kojin relics, was in the possession of Hingashi until they decided to present it to the Garleans in a gesture of consolation. The Red would not abide this, and so they plotted to seize the vessel bearing it to their imperial masters. Alas, though they succeed in the ensuing chaos, the Magatama was lost to the sea. We wish to recover the sacred jewel before our brothers. However, were we to come into conflict with them, it would be problematic. Therefore, we turn to you. So, you want us to search the ocean floor for this treasure of yours? I'm not sure how we're supposed to do that without, you know, diving gear. Drowning? Fear not. There is a ritual I can perform to imbue your bodies with a powerful blessing. But first, you must prepare offerings for the sea. I require twisted ruby coral, several fist-sized sea snail shells, and a freshly harvested unkiyu carcass. That's quite the shopping list. I will see to the shells, and Liz can look for the coral. Grant, would you go and find an unkiyu and relieve it of its carapace? Are they just gonna give me like a turtle shell?
Oh god, so looking at it, literally the next freaking dungeon is until 65.
Wait. So I'm at... where do I
Your
go
next
to...
dungeon is until 65, apparently.
And my current dungeon is 60... Oh my fucking god. That's terrible. Because it's like 3 missions to a level nearly half the time. Oh my god, that's pain. That's not great. Also, I need to remove this.
Well, that's also not needed, Velk. Technically.
There is a level 63 dungeon. Is it this one right here? The Shisui of the Violet Tides?
Yes.
I'm guessing it's not as easy as just walking over to it and being like, I am going to open this door.
For it.
Alrighty, we're gonna chase after that quest line once I get back up to the top of wherever the F this is. I can't let the ninja catch up to me. No, that's unfair! You're using abilities! God damn it. Whee! Oh, I just realized, like, taking the right is like doing steps and such. Taking the left was just like I could walk down a path. Alrighty, so... Oh, here we go. Plunge. Yay! Alright. Cool, I only needed to do it once. And there's all kinds of, like, unknown territory there. Now I can just, like, run back into the place. Do I want the difficult path or the easy path? I'm gonna go with the easy. Oh, shit. I've already fucked up. Jesus. I missed the first jump. Thank you for the heals. Wait, hang on, wrong way. What is that? Is that a monk? Oh. Oh no, that's the sage. That's the laser healer.
Literally the definition of I'm a healer, but
wait, I overran. the thing.
The most literal version of I'm a healer, but that's fucking mean.
Yep, no, I've seen that. I like Joe Cat's video where it's just like, and then there's the new kid on the block who's got a Glock and a TikTok or something.
Yeah, the new kid on the block who has a Glock in it. He's got a Glock and has a TikTok.
Yeah.
That shit is too funny.
They just do good videos. How splendid they are! The kami shall be most pleased, I am sure. I got it. Got the ruby coral you wanted. And I, the seashell shell. Or the sea snail shells. They're about the size of my fist, though I realize now you may have meant yours. These shall more than suffice for our purpose. Next, we must make ready to present them to the sea and perform the ritual. Once it's been completed, you will be able to move freely through the depths and find the Yasakani no Magatama. Out of curiosity, how large is this sacred jewel of yours? Unless it's far too large to be carried by the three of us, how are we supposed to even find it? The Ruby Sea is not exactly small. Ha! Surely you realize we have been searching this whole time. The area we wish you to explore is but a small fraction of the Ruby Sea. Already we have scoured most of the seabed near and within our territory to no avail. All that remains is a region to the west. The shellless of Sui no Sato can provide you with the better guidance than we. You would do well to visit them first. Shellless? You mean the Koji aren't the only ones living under the sea? Of course not! The Ryan have been here as long as I can remember. Shiosai, the overseer, I believe, can tell you more when you arrive. But we are getting ahead of ourselves. We have yet to carry out the ritual. Click this, open this. Suddenly you have to defeat monsters for shards. Oh yeah, we are most likely going to have to pick up its scraps and put them back together, knowing our luck. Oh my goodness, is there really... Are you ready, my friends, to explore a world unlike any you have ever known? Then let us go to the western part of the village, where the waters twist and turns, and there complete our preparations for the ritual. Alright, that's going to be painful as F, so we're going to go into the Eye of the Creator. Let me see if I have it. Here we go, the Eye of the Creator. It's nearly 9 p.m. There's not been any dungeons whatsoever, and I've just been having a rack work as a taxi for me. Hopefully there's someone, unless I've been shadow banned in this thingy-madiggy as well, which would be really annoying. It's Saturday night. There should be people playing. It's fine, you can continue on while we wait, or I can queue as a tank or healer. You play with what you're, you know, you play with what you want to have fun with. I'll continue on with the quest thingy-majiggy. Hopefully it doesn't say, like, we are ready to continue in the middle of a cutscene. Let's see. 1, 0, and 2. Okay, cool. Hopefully it's not going to be quick. He dove into the water a moment ago and said to wait here until he returned. There he is.
It is done. Your offerings have been given to the sea. The ritual can begin at last. Come and stand before me, my friends.
Excuse me.
Yes, yes. Listen to my words, and let all else wash away. Listen to my words, and feel them flow into your heart. At first a trickle, then a flood.
I'm not feeling anything.
O Kami of the fathomless waters of the fallen, the ascended, the flowing, and the becalmed, caretakers of the shallows and of the depths. Receive of us our meager offerings, cleanse these ones of earth and stone, and grant them your blessing, that they might drink deep of the divine.
I need to get a water. After talking about water and drinking and shit. Hang on a second. Yay, I got a water.
The ritual is complete, my friends. You may now breathe in the depths.
Thank you for the hydrate, Caffeine Bunny.
Strange. I don't feel any different. Are you sure it worked?
Absolutely.
Reasonably. The blessing does have its limits, of course. While it will allow you to dwell in the depths, it will not help you traverse them.
I can swim well enough. How about you, Alize?
Oh, like a fish, in contrast to my doggy-paddling brother.
Yeah, lol.
Somehow, the boy just isn't very buoyant.
It's because of her boobies. Boobies are just filled with fat, and they give him natural buoyancy.
Skilled or no, your bodies are ill-suited to the sea. Your cause demands alacrity, and you shall have it. But first, let us take to the water.
Yay, more swimming in this game. Dun, 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 dun. God, that fucking dumpy. Oh, that's a cool one. When did you add the MTG tap?
Incredible. I could swear I was breathing air.
Jesus Christ. Sorry, that shouldn't have been as funny when her just like in an echo saying incredible.
Noble steeds of great strength.
We get seahorses. You added it secretly. Alrighty then. Wait, did you add the Phyrexian mana? Hang on, now I need to double check what the fuck you added secretly. Oh, it's just, these aren't stingrays. What are they?
Oh, look at them. I bet they could take us all the way to the deepest depths of the sea.
And so they may. After we've won over the Confederacy, rescued Kosetsu, and liberated your respective homelands.
Should you become parted from your steeds, Return to me, and I shall call them again. Take care, my friends, and may the Kami speed you on your way.
We'll find that treasure in no
Wait,
time.
is
Come
that
on!
Huh. Didn't know that was a feature of my thumb. Interesting. Oh, I typed in 7.tv, not 7tv.app. That's probably, like, something I need to fix. There we go. Alrighty. So, Jason Wilk. Wait, when did I add Puffin as one of my editors to 7TV app? And how have they not, like, abused this? Okay, it looks like they haven't... I see... Okay, so there's the cancelled, and then you just added in the tap at, like, 8 p.m. I think so long as Puffin doesn't know this, I'm gonna be fine. Because I think Puffin could have easily have forgotten. They've only done it twice. They've not done it as often as you have. I can just see this fucking menagerie of all these blue foxy nicey icy has inserted the following emotes. And they're all Final Fantasy 14 related. And then finally you give me like pants grab. And then maybe a few like Kingdom Hearts related. I like the emotes that Puffin has added at the very least are like it's love mods and stare cat. So those two is like I understand. To leave deep water, you will only need to swim towards the surface. Conversely, to dive into deep water while swimming on the surface, use control spacebar. You should become separated from your steed. Speak with Soroban in Tamamizu to mount. Excellent. Yay! Also, I think I need to start the... Yep, I need to do the Eye of the Creator again because someone went into the customization menu and changed. Dun dun. Dun 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 dun. Why the fuck do you give us a Lalafell in your little introduction? Potatoes can't swim. Oh, there's a water flip emote. Cool. Sui no Sato. Unable to while mounted. You must select from the pet hotbar. This must be Sui no Sato, the rain village Saroban told us about. Right then, let's see if they can't help us find the Kojin's missing jewel. Oh, cool. I care for none of these things. You may now perform underwater emotes. Thank you. And then more Rangers things, and then just a random shield. If this is Sui no Sato, then Shio Sai, the Overseer, should be around here somewhere. I dare say one of the locals will be able to point us in this direction, though now that I look around, I get the distinct impression we're not welcome here. Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun. Ah, there we go. Arak is playing fucking triple triad right now with the Overseer. Excellent. Potatoes can't swim, they became your dinner. That's kind of funny. I like that. So this is our man. Leave this place and never return. We have no need of wide-eyed wanderers. Sorry, I didn't mean to stare. My name is Liz, and these are my friends, Grant and Alize. We're looking for the Overseer of Sui no Sato, Shiosa. That's you, isn't it? The Kojin of the Blue sent you hither, did they? I am no Overseer, nor ever would I claim to be one. I am High Priest of Shisui of the Violet Tides, Shiosa. So you are the man we're looking for. Great! We need your help. We're looking for this jewel called the Yasakani no... Stop. I will hear no more. We will suffer no outside troubles in our sanctuary, especially those of would-be treasure hunters. Oh my god, it's a little otter with a little hat as a fucking leaf. Look at it! Ryder, if you're looking, look at this, it's your persona. Ooh. Quiet, Isobe, and there will be no dango of dinner. I can do not to aid you, and I say to you again, leave this place and never return. At the very least, sir, you must send why basic courtesy. I need to read this a lot faster now. Suiso is our but it is not always so. Long ago, our forebears of the sea, we are engaged in other diplomacies. Doma fell 25 years ago, forever, ever apart. Yep, cool. They will suffer no thingamajig. We assume no troubles. I have not, but this changes nothing. Regardless of the intention, it's not my place to break the tradition. Regardless of the no. I couldn't wait for the thingy-madiggy to end. Yay, it's a full party. Alright, time to activate the barrier. I completely forgot there was like a barrier thingy-madiggy to this thing.
Three convoys, well, no. An
Smoke is too thick.
I think Ephemera and then Iraq.
Oh my god. Alright, here we go.
Like 3 out of the 8 people are convoys.
Alrighty then. Oh wait, someone else is, looks to be a tank, so...
Oh, they blew V8. Oh, good.
They're fast. Ooh, we're just bouncing in the air.
Oh, they are full bis. Oh, damn. They're full best in slot.
They're what?
The other tank is full best in slot.
What does that mean?
Basically, each class has a kind of best in slot crew that the best that like has like there's obviously you can have like the highest level here, but then if you're wanting to max out your stats and shit, you go for a fixed.
Oh, okay. So it's one of those.
He has this crew that meaning that other Dark Knight has completely cleared the current, the most recent Savage Spear.
Okay. Wait,
I think the Dancer has too, because they have the... No, yeah, the Dancer has completed it too. They have the weapons. And yeah, they're fully set up too. Damn! I wouldn't be surprised if the Dark Knight and the Dancer were like... together.
The fuck is that? Oh, gee, why can't... Damn it. I didn't go into the thingy-majiggy. There was like a cinematic, and then... Alright. There we go. And that. Swipe. Swipe. Wait, do I need to do something with the power generators? What am I supposed to do? Okay, stay away from that corner, I'm imagining. So stand behind the thingy? Yes, stand behind the thingy. Really narrow boulders. Did I go to the right way? Hopefully I did. It's hard to read all the danger signs right now. Oh. Okay, hopefully I can get the molten shit out of... No, I cannot. Damn it, I was really hoping I was on the edge of that. Ah. Okay, we're all dead. Never mind. You're in channel if you want. I can explain. That would be helpful. Oh, I need to go into the ingress. So they say post macro. Okay, I think we're all here. Oh wait, no. For Faust, you have to keep rotating him around. Okay, so he grabs like so he absorbs the robots, does he? And we want to put the thingy-madiggies in them. And we're trying to hit them in like the little corner, I think. Avoid leaving him in the puddle until he's dead. Oh, okay. So I gotta get. So we need to keep him out of the corner until he's dead. Okay.
Well, those ones are okay. It's
Yep. Okay. And then those guys are getting hit. So we need to hide behind it. Wait, how come my movie isn't working? do the reprisal, so then that way it doesn't do that big of a hit if it was still stuck in the thingy. Where do we go? The opposite corner? Uh-oh, we need to get him out of that. No, bring him over here. Come on. Over here, Faust. Thank you. Oh, fuck. We're in the other corner. All right. Almost there. Got him. Alright, now... Is my grit turned off? Yes, it is. Oh, got him. Oh, that's why, because our tank died.
No. That was fucked.
Oh, it's just like a one hit.
We needed to bring him into that other corner before he died.
Yeah, but the thing is that the other corner... Oh, in the Discord. Ding. I can bring...
Because they need to be dead on the corners that like have that.
Yeah, but... Oh, but one of the issues was that, yeah, one of the corners was already, like, activated, but we couldn't, like, kill him in that... Like, we didn't kill him in the corner before it activated.
So what needs to happen is the puddles will light up, and they'll go around in a circle.
Yep.
On the fourth one, leave him in, because we should have DPS'd him down by that time.
Okay.
Yeah, like... See me over here, Grant? This one was gonna go off when he died. Like, it was lighting up like it was gonna go off when he died.
Yeah, so, but...
So he should have been over here, but he was in...
He was in the next one because we didn't get the DPS down
he was supposed
fast
to be
enough.
Here, but he ended up over here. He was over in this one.
Yeah, okay. We didn't have there wasn't enough of a DPS on him, so...
No, the DPS was fine. It's just he needed to be moved back over here.
So wait, can he... Basically. I thought he wasn't okay for being in the pool of lava before he was dead, though.
That is correct. There was barely enough DPS to make that check, if enough at all. So, you can turn your tank stance on now. You won't rip aggro.
Okay.
Not with this tank.
Fair enough.
Yeah, for a fully BIS tank, yeah, you're not gonna... It's gonna be very hard for you to steal aggro.
Alright then, cool.
Like, hell,
so yeah,
because
like having it turned on... Having it turned on will help, because then that way I'm not, like, leaving a rack to take on the, you know, the... What is it called when it's not the boss and it's everything else?
Oh, Faust? That's the name of the other one.
No, not the specific name. It's just, AD, that's it.
Oh, add.
Add.
Yeah, the ads.
And then we need... There we go. Can we still attack them?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a bit of a range that you have for like how far you can be from the boss before you can stop attacking.
Alright, and then we gotta...
That and put it on all three, and then drag them over the pile.
Yep. I got... So, yep, there's 3 of them. Oh, there it is.
Yep.
Pull them over here.
Yep.
And then we kill them.
Yep, cool. So yeah, because these ones we're not having too big of an issue with. It's Faust, unfortunately. So...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Because we really only have, like, 4 corners to try and defeat them. We don't have, like, however many.
I wouldn't stay there, though.
Oh, yep.
That hurt. That hurt.
Yep, just a bit. Thankfully, I had a tank stance on. I was taking 10% less.
Oh no, tank stance doesn't increase or decrease your damage taken. Not anymore.
Oh, not the tank stance, sorry. The, rampart.
Ah.
Alright, so now...
Okay, we get
where's Faust?
Yeah, coming in now. There he is.
There he is, alright.
So, just drag him around.
Alright, so just keep him out of the active one until he's dead, and we want to try and get him in the 4th one.
Ah! Oh, main tank is here. Hi, main tank. There's gonna be a lot of death here, because that tank buster's gonna go... Oh no, tank is doing good. Okay.
Okay, now we need to get him into this one here.
Yep, that's correct.
And we need to try and get him before the end of...
And now that 4th one will light up.
Yeah. So he's good to just stay there. Because, yeah, that should be the 4th and last quadrant to go up. Yep, it is.
There it
cool.
is. And then after that, the boss will start taking damage again, because right now it's
Oh, it isn't? Oh, he's taking a little bit.
not a lot. Like, crits are going for about 800. Now we're doing damage.
Oh, okay. Yay! Alright, so that's it?
Yep, that's it. This is one of the harder ones. Because there's
oh,
actual
no.
mechanic.
I can't get any more Tombstones of Poetics.
Go spend them, boy.
Spend them on what? I can't get the gear from like the Stormblood section yet, I don't think.
Then get Heaven's Word ones.
I already got like the 2. Oh, is it worth going for the treasure coffers here?
There's a reason why they're not open.
Okay. Cuz isn't there like cuz I know the first 2 parts of the Alexander isn't worth, but is it like all parts of the Alexander are not worth the treasure coffer?
That is correct.
Okay.
In Savage... No, not even Savage, really.
So if I'm going through this guy, don't open any of the treasure coffers, because I'm not going to be able to desynth any of it, and it's going to be crafting materials I can't use.
Oh, you can desynth the items you get from the Savage ones. It's just the gear itself from the Savage is woefully meh.
Okay, yeah, but I think that's the reason for the mehness is just because it's Heaven's Ward post gear compared to, you know, our current expansion, which is 3 ahead right now, technically.
No, I mean compared to the Shire gear. I did a check on most of the gear, and the augmented Shire chest piece is better than the Savage chest piece for some reason.
Huh. Okay. It's a relief to hear that one of the signs proceeded. Does it even look good, or?
Oh, it looks. Well, looks is subjective. It's just the Alexander one was something like debt skill speed for Dragoon and Reaper, which made me just bleed out of my eye sockets as soon as I saw it.
Like, bad?
That's 2 of the worst stats.
Oh, okay,
for Reaper.
Speed is the worst stat.
Skill speed is... You avoid it for Dragoon. I'll go ahead and grab what it looks like.
Yeah, like literally, as an example, the actual Biss Reaper set has 400 skill speed on it total.
Evil.
Right. This gives me no context. I don't understand these numbers.
So skill speed, like any items with skill speed on it, are bad for a Reaper. They do not want.
Is it just because skill speed doesn't really help out a lot of DPSs? Because a lot of the, like...
Oh,
quote-unquote skills already are a low cooldown, so you're really just doing your combos and you're not really gonna have an issue with cooldown speeds?
It's not that.
Well,
it's
basically,
that, for
the
Dragoon
skill speed
and
affects your GCD.
for Dragoon and Reaper, they have a set rotation that they have to follow at all times.
Hmm.
If they go out by even so much as a second, their rotation is cooked for the rest of the fight. So they have to be on the 2.5.
So wait, they can't just... So if their global cooldown skill... Or sorry, if the global cooldown thingy-majiggy isn't smaller... hold on, let me get this in my brain. So if the global cooldown speed is, like, shorter than 2.5 seconds, and they try and activate their abilities, like, you know, in time with it, there's, like... It ruins the flow or something, because the abilities take more than 2.5 seconds to do?
It ruins their other intrinsic parts of the rotation, such as in Shroud windows, or for Dragoon, it ruins their dot window. So they lose DPS if they go skill speed.
Okay.
Which is straight
Yeah, it all
up not a
comes
good
down
one.
to, like, aligning shit properly.
Hmm.
And
So-
sometimes if you have, like, too much or too little skill speed, it can really affect, like, how smooth it is. How smooth everything lines up.
So does that mean that the skill speed you get from, you know, let's say level 60 is the same skill speed you're going to get from level 80 or 90 gear, really? Like, they're not going to be a dramatic change in speed.
Synced, yes. Like, 300 skill speed will basically give you the same amount as... at 70 will give you the same as 30.
Okay.
In 60.
All
Yeah,
right.
just took a look at the Dragoon set. It's... No. It's very no.
Think you'll head out. Haven't really slept. Thanks for the great stream. Not to worry, Caffeine Bunny. I'll be probably finishing up shortly again, because, yeah, it's beyond 9 p.m. for me, and while it would be tempting to be up until midnight for some games, especially on a weekend or a Friday, I have a stream tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., so then that way American peeps have a better chance of seeing me. So I gotta get ready for that one soon, and try and get some worthwhile sleep when I do. Alright, let's have a look. Let's have a look. Who is online? Alright, so we got...
Hell, looking at that vending gear, the gloves and pants are really the only even slightly good ones.
Cat. Wait, is that not the same cat?
That cat.
I'm gonna take the wild guess that we're supposed to say "fuck that cat" for some reason.
Oh no, I do, because I've done the ultimate version of this fight where that cat... that cat caused issues.
Gobbies. I can't look at gobbies the same way. All right, and then what's Briggs's? Briggs's is obviously gonna give me like the next thingy madiggy. Because it goes to the eye, to the breath. Wait, so how does... So 1, 2, 3, 4 for the father. 1, 2, 3, 4 for the son. Does that mean... Wait. 1, 2, 3. Does that mean that for the creator, there's like 4 pieces to the creator? Or sorry, 4 dungeons to the...
Yeah.
Okay. And then I've got this... Yeah. So yeah, so that was the second... Wait, no, hang on. Yeah, so that was, I think, the second when we did the eyes of the creator. And now it wants us to go into the breath of the creator, which is the third one. But I'll put a pin in that one, because, well...
No,
it's
Breath
9...
of the Creator is the second one for the last section.
So yeah, I'm gonna put a pin in that one, because, it's 9:30. I think about going to bed shortly, or else, you know,
Like, boy, it's
gonna feel absolutely terrible come Sunday morning when I stream for Americans. So, night, Caffeine Bun. And also, hi, Sashera. Welcome to the stream. How's it going?
Funny, because you say that and I'm just here like, it's 6:30 in the morning for me.
Yeah, I just give up on some Americans like, or sorry, Canadians like you, where it's like just completely different time zones, and it's like, yeah, they're like, I'm never going to like, you know, I'm never going to be like in a more convenient time for you because you're just in a completely different mindset in terms of sleep. Oh, sorry, I'm still in the game and I think I see, hang on, can I send tell? Thank you for the help in the raid. I hope this is the same Elias and the Alexander. Alright, and then I need to go into the thingy-madoogie and use the Aethernet to get up into the tavern area, so then that way I can fall asleep there and get the rested bonus and what have you. But yeah, also I need to say all the redeems are done. And get me, get a look at who is online right now as far as options and see who we're going to raid into. Let's have a look. Because MixPuffin is doing a birthday stream. So I think we might go for them and have anyone who is still here wish him a happy birthday. Let me get a cake. 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 Dear Puffin, happy birthday to you. All right, that's our raid message for MixPuffin. They are currently going through a little bit of Sons of the Forest right now, so I think they've got like another several more hours to go in their stream, because everyone's been gifting them subs and such like that. Other than that little nonsense, and before we go in there shortly, I just want to say thank you, Iraq and Savage, for coming in and helping me out in this stream, and we were able to do like a raid near the end there. I really appreciate it. And also, I do need to shout you. I probably need to shout you guys out again. Oh my God, what's happening with my arms? They're just floating into nothingness. I'll give you two a I'm gonna give... Why can't I give Iraq a shout out? Oh, because it's not Iraq, it's Velk. Shout out to Velk, and shout out to Savage. Because they do aiming as well in Final Fantasy and the such. And without further ado, before it goes off to the end, I want to say thank you everyone who came along to tonight's stream. I greatly appreciate it, and I hope you all had a wonderful good morning, afternoon, evening, or night. And I hope to see you all next time as I stream tomorrow morning and catch up on most likely Atomic Heart. Bye for now.